Petro on the program on Sports Radio 810 WHB. You're not going to get any argument on me.
It was either that or
from me on that.
Guy who also has illness in shoulder.
Illness in shoulder?
Has a shoulder.
I do have a shoulder. Not being very good at bench press technique. Not being very good at bench press either, but I think is what ruined my shoulders.
It's a combination of really wanting to be a good bench presser and not having good technique. A lot of people don't have good technique, but they don't really try that hard at it.
You know who's in good shape? Jeff Chadilla.
Yes.
And somebody said, "Oh, Jeff." Somebody actually asked him, "What do you bench?" He goes, "I don't." And I was like, "There it is. There's a guy who's in great shape, and he understands which are the healthy exercises to do and which are not."
True story.
So, yeah. So there you have it. It's a quick sidebar there for you kids. Pay attention. Keep up. We're moving fast. We've got a lot to get to today here in the program. We'll open up the phone lines if you'd like to chime in. 913-3810810. Grab a line right now. Remember when this thing used to work?
I don't.
Like stay where I put it? I remember those days. That was great. Those are fun times.
Yeah, the 2010s were good.
Yep.
Good decade.
Danny Unleashed in the 3 o'clock hour. The Clink will join us. 4 o'clock, 2-minute drill, scheduled to be joined by Jay Williams.
All right.
Former Duke Blue Devil, former 1-1.
Mm-hmm.
Was he 1-1 or was he 1-2 after Yao Ming?
I think he was 1-2.
I think that's right. Chicago Bull.
Yao.
Now turned color analyst, or I guess analyst.
Yeah.
Pre-post, halftime analyst, college basketball analyst for ESPN. He is either in town or on his way to being in town because College Game Day is going to be at the Fog.
Finally, a major event happening at the Fog.
Finally, some press for this little engine that could of a program called Kansas Basketball.
Yep, they are the Kansas basketball, Illinois football, kind of the same thing.
Illinois football? Indiana football.
Indiana football. It would have been funnier if I'd used the right.
Yeah, it would be way better.
Wouldn't have been that funny, but would have been funny.
Why are we hearkening to Brett Bielema?
No.
That's, Where are you going with this, Kurtis? Explain yourself.
I watched some Illinois basketball last night.
We got a great local kid.
Wanted to see Keaton Wagler play.
Yeah? How'd he do? I did not see the game.
I only saw about 5 minutes of it.
By the way, quick sidebar. We're going to talk a little bit of football here in a minute. We'll talk some NFL football. As we always say, Chiefs, Sporting, Royals, K-State, KU, MU, always a topic here in the program. We'll also talk about this big matchup between KU and BYU. So grab a line if you're so inclined. Did you watch any of the tennis? The answer is probably no.
I did not.
But it got started at 9:30, which is pretty early for the Australian Open. The men's semis both went 5 sets.
Oh, wow.
Do you even know the results?
I saw it. Did Sinner lose?
He did.
That's what I thought.
You see who he lost to?
I did not.
He lost to Djokovic.
Oh, wow.
So Djokovic will go to the finals, and Zverev, Z-V-E-R-E-V. How you want to pronounce that?
I think it's Zverev. Not sure.
I think there's a Zv.
Zv.
I heard John McEnroe pronounce it a number of different ways last night. Whatever seemed to be efficient. That was actually the first match, and it looked like, oh, this could be tough. And then I'm drawing a blank on the Spanish guy who's
Alcaraz.
Alcaraz kept stealing the first 2 sets and ended up going 5 also. Alcaraz did advance, but Alcaraz versus Djokovic.
Wow.
So Djokovic will be in the finals of the event he's won the most.
Yep.
He's a hardcore player.
38.
At 38, he will try to break his tie with Margaret Court for the 25th Grand Slam match.
Rooting for it?
I don't know. I mean, I will point out it's historic. I'll be watching it because it's a historic moment. I've pointed out that, he did not play in the Australian 2 years in a row because you had to be vaccinated. And so he didn't play. He gave up his best tournament 2 years in a row. And he also got tossed from the U.S. Open for hitting a ball at one of the ball kids. So there are 3 that he just said no. Or, I mean, one that he got himself thrown out of. They threw him all the way out of the tournament in the U.S. Open. And then 2 Australians where he's like, no, not doing it. or and that was when he was still winning everything. So he probably, I would say that had he played to fruition in the U.S. Open and the other two, he would have his 25. But.
And he has this opportunity because of a stroke of pretty good fortune, down 2 sets to a guy who has to disqualify. He just has to stop the match. He advanced because somebody was, I can't remember who it was, but he was down 2 sets to someone, and they were like, "Yeah, I'm hurt." So he advanced on that. So,
but going through
well rested,
going through center,
yeah, that's
not bad.
No,
not bad. I had somebody say, "Well, he's hosed because whoever comes out of the other side gets an extra day of rest because they're playing on Thursday and he's playing on Friday." You know what they didn't realize? They were looking at U.S. time. It's just one started at 9:30 p.
Right.
The other one ended up starting at like 2 or 3 a. And so it's in Australia, it's the same day.
Yeah.
They did play, but it was like if you look at your app, like you go like the score app, it said one was on Thursday and one was on Friday.
And he was down a set twice last night.
Yeah, it was impressive. Fun tennis if you like the tennis. I always like the Australian Open because I'm a late night person.
Yeah.
So I've got live, high level, historic. It's It's one of the big ones. We're not watching the Greater Cleveland Open.
Yeah, right.
Where 2 of the top 50 in the world have come together to play a bunch of humps you've never heard of here on the Tennis Channel. Woo! Now this is one of the big ones.
My best friend's probably the biggest tennis fan I know, and he loves this week because he's always up till 3 or 4. So
yeah, it's great.
I'll get text at like 3:45. Unbelievable. I'm like, dude, I was asleep. Sorry.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Nah,
What are you gonna do?
I like that all 4 of the Opens have a unique look. When you see a shot at any one of these, you know right exactly what it is.
Do you? You are correct.
At least the 3 of the 4. U.S. Open could be a lot of other things, but I've never seen a court as blue as the one this week.
Right, but they
have
go.
The clay.
I was just gonna say because they go a blue, the off the court, the part that's not, the playing surface is blue, and it's just a different shade of blue.
Yeah.
It's like kind of almost a gray steel blue, and I'm like, we couldn't
have that be the.
Could we go a different color? It looks almost like they ran out of paint. Is what it looks like. Right. So I'm with you. They all do. Obviously, the French on the clay and Wimbledon on the grass is absolute.
The only one that looks like it could be elsewhere is the U.S. Open because that's just kind of a general. But it's a major. It's not one of the other 3.
But I will say this: if you watch the highlights from yesterday, you'll see it's sunny and everything. When they brought out the first match was Zverev and Alcaraz, and I was like, oh, they have the roof closed. They had it dark, and then like a spotlight, and then they do the introductions, they do the fancy light show, and they do everything's an LED board now around it and everything. They do all that, and it's time to play. And I'm like, wait a minute, the sun's out. They open and close the roof on that thing in like no time. I think they closed the roof to do a introductory deal, and then they opened it up, and it was like no time.
They had the roof open. Wild experience.
Yeah, I was like, man, put some money into these tennis venues.
A little bit.
Have you ever seen the U.S. Tennis Center? I've never been in it, but I've been by it.
No.
And it wasn't, when I went by it was 30 years ago. It's massive. And you're like, what? So, like, we have this one big event, and they really only need the whole thing.
In Queens?
Yeah.
I've flown over it once.
Yeah. They really only need. Yeah, they really only need all the extra courts for like 3 or 4 days. It's like the opening round of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
They start with 128, but on the men's and women. So you got 256 players going. But then you get down to now, and there's like, like there were 8 players. There were actually 6 when they took the court because the women were down to 2. So
wow,
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the big match, and they're amazing. There for a while, it's like all it is a serve ace. Not anymore. I don't know how they turn around 130 mile an hour serve, and
there's plenty of rallies.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So you got a chance to watch history on Sunday as Djokovic will. Yeah, the old guard will take on the new guard. One of the new guard, because it's really Alcaraz and Sinner really have. I think they have won the last 8 I think, Grand Slams.
Yeah.
So
If Djokovic wins, if he goes through both of those guys at 38 to break the record, I mean, it's an amazing story.
Well, and
how could you not want to watch that?
And if Alcaraz wins, he completes the career Grand Slam. He does not have an Australian yet.
Yeah.
So this would be, he's going to get it at some point. He's just too good a player not to. But, great historic match going to be played. So if you're inclined, if you like competition, which I do, I would check it out. 913-810-810. What's at stake in this game besides the fact that the reason, let's be honest, it's a heck of a matchup when you've got, KU sits at
14.
14?
BYU's 13, I think.
BYU's 13.
I'll figure out how to say BYU at some point.
So that's a heck of a matchup, but let's be honest, they're here because it's 1 versus 2.
Yeah.
As far as, or what is expected to be 1 versus 2, as far as the NBA draft goes. So what is at stake in this? We know what's at stake for Kansas as far as trying to fight their way up the standings, currently sitting tied with BYU in 5th place. Technically, they are in 5th place. There's no technical part about it. They're tied with BYU in 5th place. Iowa State has 2 losses as well, so in the loss column, they're at 4. Arizona looks like they're going to run away and hide with this, but Texas Tech with 1 loss, Houston with 1 loss. That's what's at stake as far as climbing up in the Big 12, climbing up in the seeding. There are 6 Big 12 teams that are top 4 seeds, so you're playing for a seed. But do we really think this head-to-head matchup is going to go how far in determining which one of these guys goes number 1?
Not very much.
Yeah, not much.
Because they're not going to say, well, he against Peterson he did so and so, or against Devonta he did so and so. I think it'll probably have almost no impact. There's so many other measurables to try to judge, particularly if you're judging Peterson. Is he healthy or is he not? And even Devonta, if is he playing against a guy who's healthy or not? That there's so many other variables and so many other data points that are much more important. So it'll be considered something by fans for a little while, but not much longer than that.
Well, I mean, what I would add to that, Kay, is if Darren Peterson does not finish this game, does that hurt his stock a little bit?
I think at some point it has to be accumulating, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, this is now a different injury, but the brittle label will start to be thrown around, won't it?
For sure. It's always something. So it'll be the Rosanna-Dana of the NBA. He's got to figure out how to be and they're going to need him. I think tomorrow. Can they beat that team? If he's going to start probably, but if he's up lame and he's not playing the last 5 minutes of a close game, can they win without him playing 35 minutes? I don't know.
I don't know
because BYU's not just one guy. I mean, we'll hear from Bill Self later, but they've got 2 other guys that are averaging like 18 and 17 in conference play, and Saunders and Wright, and they've got Keita is always been a problem, was for them last year. That team does more than just have one stud player. So
agreed.
If Peterson doesn't play the whole game, and the line's 3.5. I mean, if I think they need all 40 minutes of DP tomorrow, or else someone else is going to have to go. I'm just tired of saying Darren Peterson. It's a good point. I think either that or someone else is going to have to really go off, and they're going to have to play amazing defense and keep that game in the 60s or 70s.
Listen, I do think BYU has, clearly because the Kansas they don't ever know who they got.
Right.
But BYU's definitely got a more established pecking order of how they want to go about, getting things done, scoring-wise.
Yeah. And Bill Self was asked yesterday, how much do you know about your team? He goes, not everything. I know about 80% of this team, but the other 20%, I still don't know yet.
Yeah.
And it's January 30th. I mean, this is later than you've ever heard that, and reasons are obvious, but maybe he'll learn a little bit. I mean, if they go out tomorrow and Darren Peterson's healthy and he plays the whole game and he scores 27 and they win by 8 or 9 and he's there at the end, you go, okay. maybe this recent trend is you put a little bit more stock into it. But there's always going to be, until he plays, I've been saying this for weeks, you said it first, I think, until he plays 3 or 4 straight games where he's there every minute they need him, the question is always going to be, how long are we going to have him?
One of the things I think is at stake in this is like his legacy, right? This has the potential to be a legacy game. A lot of times, those things, I mean, like, you don't necessarily know, okay, this is going to be the game that we remember him for. But the game, it's not kicking the crap out of,
Baylor.
Kansas State.
Yeah.
Or Baylor, who's
or
terrible.
Cincinnati, or, that's not what it is, right? It's going to be in a marquee matchup. Like, that's where, Sharon Collins' legacy was going toe-to-toe with Oklahoma and shooting it out with, the kid from the Bahamas or Virgin Islands. Buddy Hield.
Yeah.
Like, that back and forth. That to me is his Sharon Collins legacy game. What's the legacy game right now for Peterson?
He didn't have one yet, because the one time where he had that moment was against Carolina, and they didn't win. He was okay, but they didn't win. That's the only game where that I think he stood in front of a foe that would allow him to have that kind of memorable moment.
I think right now, and this is where it's kind of flimsy, I think right now his legacy moment is the TCU game, and it's as much about him not playing as it is the part that he did play. I mean, his legacy moment is getting fouled and knocking down all 3 free throws to send it into overtime. That, to me, is the most...
in which he did not play.
Right. And so they won. So it's like his most memorable moment, and no one else was going to get fouled out there, right? He was critical to them winning the game, but even with that, it is the story of him, a tease, right? They got the win. It's that. It's playing well against NC State and then being done. I mean, which became the council legacy moment.
The dog day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so up to this point right now, all Kansas fans are going to remember this time next year is the moments where Darren Peterson handed the spotlight over to Melvin Council, and Melvin Council took over.
Yeah. I mean, he's making Melvin Council the fan favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the expectations are not there, and he's rising above what limited, if any, expectations were put on him in the wake of the guy that everyone's like, come on, let's go. But, I mean, I think he's got an opportunity. This could be it. Go out and hang 34 on BYU and beat DeMansa. How do you say it?
I thought I've heard some people say DeBonsa, but it's one of the two.
Right.
Either one of us has the equal chance of being right.
Yeah.
I don't know which one it is, but do that, and they, I don't know that they're not going to really face off that much offensively or defensively, but it's kind of viewed that way. You look at the two players; they probably won't be guarding each other on either end very often. Do that, and you can start erasing. That's like the first step.
Yeah.
Because to this point, he really hasn't erased much.
Right.
Of the earlier part.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, but this has a chance to be that legacy game, and listen, that's there for Council as well. It's there for everybody else because this is a spotlight game. The whole country, they're circling this game as the biggest game because of these two players. But the spotlight will be on. Everybody else gets a chance to shine as well.
And it's there for DeBansa as well. I mean, he's going to come into this game thinking, I've been hearing a lot about this guy. I've been there every day. I'm going into their barn. I mean, is he going to have a Kevin Durant type game? Now, the Texas lost that game, in which Durant went off, but that Kansas team was better than this Kansas team, I think. But he's that kind of guy. They asked Bill Self, who's the closest? I think he was on some show yesterday or something like that about who have you faced and he said, when I watch him, I take that back. That was about Peterson, about being the efficiency on offense is Durant, but the skill level you look at, you're like, that looks like Kevin Durant. Maybe not the shooting ability outside, but the difficulty in guarding.
Yeah,
this is probably the hardest individual player they've had to guard, maybe since him. Well,
DeBansa is hanging 27-7-4. Peterson is hanging 22-5-2. I mean, statistically, DeBansa's been the better player. And at some point, I think he is going to pass Darren Peterson. If the quote unquote real Peterson doesn't step up for 3 or 4 games in a row, why would you? Like I know Gary Parrish just said it again this week. You take the guy with the biggest upside. That's what you do when you have the number 1 pick. Well, how is Dubance's upside less if he's grabbing more rebounds? He's bigger, grabbing more rebounds, and assisting better.
Yeah.
Why is the upside higher on Peterson?
Yep.
I just like
maybe the ability that if there's anything, it would be that Peterson can score in deep. He can shoot the 3. He can also finish at the rim, and he can hit the mid-range game. And Dubance is not really a deep threat, but he does everything else so well. And the athleticism is just—they're both athletic as great as all get out. You're seeing if they play tomorrow, both of them, you're going to see just like a freak show series of athletic plays on both ends of the court. It's going to be a fascinating game to watch.
Yeah.
But
Peterson's the better shooter. That's what has him in front.
Yeah.
I mean that's what you're looking at. He shoots 10% better from 3-point range. So you've already got a guy who is a threat from 3, not a guy that we like the mechanics of it. Looks like he could be there. But it's a big game. They're not bringing everybody in from ESPN because the game's just ho-hum. Right. It's a big one. And I think this is the one. And I do think that also this is because ESPN's going to be here. They're going to talk a lot about it. No matter what happens, it's going to be a big part of SportsCenter. It's going to be a big part of the college basketball feel all day. What time is the game?
2:30, I think.
Okay, so we're going to get it then through the after
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. So into the evening, they'll be showing highlights of it because all their people are there. So if you lay an egg, it's going to be what people remember. So yeah, it's nice. And how about this? The Chiefs got out of the way. It's like we got a star here. We got to get out of the way and put the spotlight back on college basketball. Because for about 7 years, it's like, Big 12 tournament's coming. Great. Who's on these teams? It's kind of been what's happened with college basketball because of the Chiefs sucking up all the oxygen in the room. 913-810-810, the phone number. We'll talk some football as well. That's coming up next here in the program.
The program with Soren Petro.
That scared the pants off me. Guess I better put my pants back on.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Your neighborhood hen house is your place to go if you're looking for great specials back at the meat counter. Go to henhouse.com. You can check out all kinds of great specials. Just click on the weekly ad, and you can see where all the specials are. Make sure you're part of that loyalty club at Hen House. Right now, you can get the KC strips. 10 ounces, just $10. And listen, we're talking about USDA Choice Certified Hereford beef. That's the finest beef anywhere around. Raised right in our very own backyard. Speaking of that certified Hereford beef, how about 80% lean, fresh, lean ground beef, ground fresh several times each day. That's just $5.99 a pound. And same story for the chicken. Ozark Mountain Country. That's where the chickens are raised. It's the freshest, best tasting chicken you're going to find anywhere. Right now, get the boneless, skinless chicken breast, just $3.99 a pound. And don't sleep on the seafood. They've got an incredible selection, whether it's the lobster tails, the shrimp, the crab legs, or what we love in my house, whole Atlantic salmon fillets. Get it right now. It's $9.99 a pound. And don't forget, I keep mentioning this, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. Sure, they'll be ready in the floral department to help you out, whether it's balloons or flowers that you need for your Valentine. But also, how about the whole meal? If you want a nice romantic dinner at home, let Hen House cook that for you. Go to the delicatessen. You can put your order in right now or go to henhouse.com. Listen, for over 100 years, Hen House has been serving Kansas City, now employee-owned. At Hen House. Get there today, henhouse.com.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more. Designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, recovery and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements. More energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com.
Feature therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing.
It is the program on a Friday. Kurtis Seaboldt here. Soren Petro will join us again in a moment. Danny Unleashed coming up at the top of this hour, about 30 minutes from now. 2-minute drill, Jay Williams, of course, Kevin Harlan will wrap up the week here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, joined by Todd Lebo. We talked about the KU-BYU thing last segment. I want to switch gears to football, and I'm wondering if the fact that everyone's discussing what's going to happen at number 9, and almost every position you could bring up, there's a pretty decent argument for it because the Chiefs have some needs in a lot of areas. Is there anything to the fact that they've hired an offensive coordinator who is a running back guy? They're trying to bring back Dylan McCullough as the running back coach, currently still employed by the Raiders, a guy who coached Jeremiah Love at Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. Now, at the very least, it appears that they're adding some importance to the running back position, or at the very least, they're acknowledging that they have not put enough into it in the years past. Is it enough to make you think they might be looking at Love at number 9?
I mean, they could be. I still would be, I think right now, as we're sitting here, the end of January, I would probably be surprised if they draft a running back in the top 10. Now, that doesn't mean I think they're as apt to trade down this year as maybe any year to try to get a couple picks, if that's a couple of slots, and they think there could be, if Love might still be there somewhere else. I don't know. I mean, I just think they have bigger needs. Myself personally, listen, I'm not in those rooms though. I mean, I think they haven't been able to get after the quarterback without smoke and mirrors for a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have anybody who's a defensive end who can maybe do that. But the problem is, like, we all love Reuben Vane because that's the mock drafts say that. He's not even like the best defensive end, right?
No.
He's like the third one.
He'll be,
And he's got short arms and all that
Reese
stuff.
will go first, and there's some thought that maybe Bailey may go before him as well.
But you have to get a little bit lucky sometimes. I mean, Chris Jones was not a top 10 pick, right? You know, they got a generational talent, which is rare. I know you guys go through those numbers all the time. You're going to find a great player. Generally, they're picked higher in the draft. What they got to do is they just got to, whatever they do, whether it's running back, if they pick Jeremiah Love, he better be freaking great.
Yeah.
I mean, he better be
Yeah.
awesome. He better be every bit of like Bijan Robinson or something.
You really can't blow this pick.
No, you can't. And I think that's a riskier pick, you know,
Sure.
to take a running back that high. And if he's no good, then you're like, ugh, man. I mean, people are mad about Clyde Edwards-Helaire being 32nd pick and not being very good, right? But people don't get as mad. I mean, this is not why you draft somebody, but they don't get as mad if you kind of whiff on a defensive end at 9 or 10 because at least you're trying. But you just got to be right on it. Whether you have decided that Jeremiah Love, and I think it's the only running back that anyone's considering at that point. I don't think there's anyone else out there. But you better be right about him. If you say you're picking a running back, which is very unorthodox, there's maybe one every couple of years who gets picked in the top 10.
Yeah.
You know? And if you do it, he better be great. He better make you better. And the Chiefs, I think, could draft a running back, and the guy could have a little success because they're, you know, it's still a decent team. This is not the Raiders. I mean, they drafted Genty, and he was horrible. But
yeah, because they didn't build the line first.
How could he have been good? He couldn't have been good
with nothing around him and no quarterback.
There's no chance for him to be good.
Yeah,
and if and Jahmyr Gibbs was good, and Bijan Robinson was good out of the chute.
They had some guys around him.
They had some guys around him. They had an offense where they utilized them. So you just don't want to waste this. I don't think a running back would be a wasted pick because I do think the Chiefs have the wherewithal, enough talent to use it properly, but it still doesn't seem to be their biggest need.
And really the only link that you'd even draw to Love is the fact that McCullough coached him in college. Other than that, I mean, that could just be happenstance.
Yeah, I mean, the other side of it is, like you said, they brought Eric Bieniemy back, and they generally have had quarterbacks be their OCs other than when Bieniemy's been
I think it'd be more likely to be a link to Love if McCullough hadn't already been here before and had some familiarity with the offense. I think if he's coming back, it's probably more likely.
He didn't
because
coach Love last year.
Right.
It was a while ago.
But he I think if it was 22 to 24, his first 3 years that he was at Notre Dame, I think it's more likely that he's back because of familiarity with the offense, not because they plan on going after a particular running back.
Right, because they're not making wholesale changes on this offense.
No.
I don't know if you knew that.
But you look around, and this is one of the bigger off seasons as far as changing, and you would expect that, but, new quality control coaches come in on various spots, position coaches, that there's going to be a lot, the staff is going to be a lot different this year than it was a year ago. What I wonder, though, is pressure versus coverage. And everyone wants to go with an edge because you see what some of the best edges can do when they collapse the pocket and they just destroy offenses. But with the quickness that offenses, quarterbacks release the ball, are you better off going for coverage? It's something like, but there's not really a corner. I think I'd take at 9.
Yeah,
but I wonder
doesn't seem to be that list of guys this year.
If you go get a big time pass rusher, is how much of his skill is mitigated by the fact that offense is the step throw.
Well, I think probably the biggest thing this Chiefs organization needs to do this offseason as far as personnel goes, not like the biggest thing they did, like choosing they're going to have a stadium in another state or something like that, or changing coordinators. But the personnel thing that they have to deal with is what are they going to do with Trent McDuffie?
Yes.
Are they going to explore trading him? We haven't seen a lot of smoke around that right now, but he's not signed for next year. He didn't have a very good end of the year, right? He ended up hurt and not playing at the end. I don't think he was hurt. Like these guys were not going to the playoffs hurt, a couple of the guys there, but this is the same kind of thing. It really snuck up on us, I think, with Tyreek Hill when it was like, what? They just traded Tyreek Hill? But I think this is a similar situation because I don't think Trent McDuffie is wanting to play for cheap. But I don't think he's going to be the kind of a problem that Tyreek Hill probably would have been had he not been signed. I don't think he would be a hold out of a camp guy or anything.
Yeah.
I don't think, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know you don't know if a guy's a hold out of camp guy until it's time for him to hold out of camp. And we do know this. Andy does not like that. He doesn't enjoy the part where people don't participate in the OTAs and hold out of camp. He doesn't like that. So if they feel like they're close, not close, whatever, and it's time to make some sort of move, this could be one of those type things. They're not going to get the haul they got for Tyreek Hill. But Trent McDuffie would be worth something worthwhile who you could maybe help yourself with. But if you do that, then is Jalen Watson on your team either? I mean, you're going all brand new at cornerback?
Yeah, I think the fact that there should be a lesson in the fact that they're not going to get the haul they got for Tyreek Hill. Then if they're not going to get the haul for Tyreek Hill, he clearly isn't as valuable a player. Maybe you can find a replacement for him better. It's easier. I think it's probably they were never going to find another Tyreek Hill, but you can find another Trent McDuffie. You can find somebody who at least the threesome at corner, you can approximate what they got from that trio when Trent McDuffie was there. Plus, you've also seemingly have a top-notch defensive coordinator and a defensive backs coach who, for some reason, still works for the Chiefs, who is really good at kind of developing those guys. I'd rather move on because
he
they
works
have
for the
they have
Chiefs
less
because he's still got kids in school.
This is true.
That's the best thing in the world for Chiefs fans.
Fantastic, but no team has less salary cap than the Chiefs. So any move they make, they can help them out in that regard.
It's
and
a good move,
you can pick up some picks, get some cheap talent. Maybe it allows you to move down is one thing, but that's one of those spots where when you know, okay, this is number 9, this guy has to be really good. But the guys that have to be really good oftentimes are the ones who have some bust potential.
Sure.
So you don't want that pick to bust, but if you're trying to go into that selection thinking we want a guy who's got a pretty high floor, that naturally would seem to limit his ceiling a little bit. Listen, 9 might be high enough where you get a guy who's got a massive ceiling and still a pretty high floor. But you really have to I wonder how different people would attack that. What's more important at 9, not blowing it or having a guy who's a generational player? Because those often aren't the same metrics.
They can be different. I think not blowing it is probably better. I mean, you get something out of it. The Chiefs have not drafted high very often, right? I mean, they traded up to get Patrick Mahomes, and Andy's first year they had Eric Fisher,
that was it.
But before that they drafted high a lot,
yes.
right? And there was just not much. I mean, Tyson Jackson's and Glenn Dorsey was fine,
okay.
But so somewhere in between Glenn Dorsey and Tyson Jackson is probably not good enough at this pick,
right?
Expecting someone to be as good as Patrick Mahomes, probably too much. Eric Fisher turned out to be a good football player.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the best overall number 1 pick ever? No, but he's one of the best guys who got drafted in that first round. It's a weird first round. There's some good players there. I mean, like Lane Johnson turns out to be a better tackle, but he didn't play left tackle for 12 years. He's been playing a lot of right tackle and all that. But they need to be right. And I say it all the time, whether you're picking the 199th pick or you're picking the first pick or you're picking the 48th pick, you just got to be right. That's the job they have. It's not like baseball used to be where you drafted 35 guys, okay? And it's not like the NBA where who cares if your second-round pick's any good or not. People just pick and choose where they go. In the NFL, you get only so many draft picks. And in the Chiefs situation right now where they don't have cap room to go out and fix any issues they have with money, even though the salary cap is going way up, again, but they just got to be right. They won 2 Super Bowls after they traded Tyreek Hill because they were right with nearly every pick they had that draft.
And they had a lot of picks.
This needs to be a 2022-ish draft for Brett Veach to be right on these guys. He's got to be right on 90 and on 41 and then get a little fined late.
Yep. It's hard to do that. Hard to have that 2022 draft when you have half the picks you had in 2022. That's one of the issues. But part of helping that out would be, 1, potential trade with Trent McDuffie, and 2, trading down from 9. If you get to 9, you're like, there's really not anybody there that we really wows us. Can you get someone that really helps you at 15 or 16? And you pick. I mean, the value of each slot that high in the draft is pretty immense. Mm-hmm. What you can get to drop from 9 to 15 is going to be a really good player. An opportunity to get a really good player. Are you better off doing that? Maybe not getting some kind of a dream boat at 9, but you get another shot at a really good player, and you've got 16, 20, 31, and 40.
The tough
I think
part about the draft
I might like
is
that better than 9 and 40.
you kind of, you just wish that, and I haven't studied the draft board enough this year, and the Chiefs have enough needs. You need the board to kind of mesh with what you need a lot. Otherwise you're just picking the best player available or whatever, right? The Chiefs desperately needed a quarterback in 2013 until they got Alex Smith beforehand. They knew there wasn't a good quarterback, so they traded and got Alex Smith, right? You want that thing to match up. They needed to have the number 1 pick in 2012 maybe, and you'd have gotten Andrew Luck. Might have changed your franchise that way. You need it to kind of fit what you need. And right now the Chiefs have definitely a need at defensive end, somewhere on that defensive line, and they probably have a need at cornerback or somewhere in the defensive backfield, and they definitely have a need in the running back position. Are there enough of those guys where you have your choice of 2 or 3 of them for each position?
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know. That's just the luck of how the world works sometimes.
Yeah.
What are you bad at this year? What are you good at this year? And this year it looks like there's probably the Chiefs don't need a quarterback. The teams that need a quarterback, tough luck. There may be one. And the rest, who knows where they're going to be.
Well, we've got Todd Lebo from Truman and me from Raytown. So we're going to break the tie here because we're going to go to the phones. And Tommy Moe, also of Raytown. Eastern Jackson County is dominating this segment. The suburban mid-6 is in the house. Tommy, what do you got?
That's out. Shout out to the Raytown Blue Jays. 1982 was my graduating class, and Kurtis, I'll let you tell them your graduating class.
86.
88 Truman High, baby. Let's go. See, I'm the young guy.
That's
here.
right.
Good basketball.
Hey, all right. I think we're all talking the Trent McDuffie trade, but then what scares me in that is that would tell us the Chiefs have full confidence in Christian Fulton playing 17 games last year. And like I said, to use a hip turn, he kind of finessed this year, guys, where he kind of felt the last 2 or 3 games he played well, and we're all feeling good about him maybe for next year. But if you really look at his history,
he's never done it.
And what he's done, or what he's not done, is play a full season in a while. And that's what scares me.
Absolutely.
So,
yep, sure. Tantalizing.
Trade McDuffie, fine. We better be looking at a cornerback, in one of those early picks. And if something happens at 9 or the top cornerback comes up and he's got some similarities to Sauce Gardner or Stingley or even to McDuffie, we might have to go that direction just to give us assurance, because relying on Christian Fulton to play 17 games as a starting cornerback in the NFL is a proposition probably not worthy of thinking about or worthy of going forward with. So
getting him to play 3 or 4 games last year would have been a problem. That's right. Thanks for the call, Tommy.
Thanks, Tommy. Always good to hear from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who I think McCoy of Tennessee, he's a safety, is he not?
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
I don't know if you get somebody there.
It's going to be tough.
You're going to have to. But if you don't use one of those higher picks, if you don't trade back, pick up a pick or use something on him, if you're trying to go into the free agency pool and get a guy, you might as well just resign McDuffie. Maybe not quite that much, but coverage is expensive in free agency.
Oh, for sure. And I think the highest cornerback money is getting insane now, and it's just too hard to play it. So you're not going to really change anything. You're not going to. There are just a couple of those game changer guys out there.
Yep. Speaking of game changers, we'll be back on the program in a moment, and the game will change a little bit. You're listening to Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You listen to the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
The Raider theme.
A lot of things going on today. A lot of things going on. Stuff happens, you know. Thanks for Todd Lebo stepping in there real quick, talking a little NFL football, a little Chiefs football with you. 913-3-810-810. Petro, Seaboldt, Collier, Lebo, Drake, roaming around the halls.
Everyone.
Of Sports Radio 810 WHB. A little Danny Unleashed coming up in our next hour. What is, I know you were talking about the running back position, and are they going to go running back? Is this a precursor to Jeremiah Love being a draft pick for him? What is a reasonable expectation for how much the Chiefs' rushing attack should improve? Right? Do we all agree that running the ball is something they need to do more of? Is. Do we agree that running the football is the first step to making the offense overall more explosive? Hopefully, it's by getting a running back that can be explosive just by handing him the ball. But that, because to me, one of the things they spent all of training camp talking about they want to go deep, and it seemed like they wanted to go deep to loosen up the underneath stuff. That the bread and butter of the offense was still going to be the short passing game. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like we want to be deeper down the field, and so they were just like go routes that they were throwing. And early on, Tyquan Thornton got a couple of them, right? Yeah. But it did,
it's kind
to
of
me,
battery and backwards thing from what you usually do. You use the short stuff to set up the long stuff. To get the bigger plays, you need to get people up at the line of scrimmage and then be able to throw it over them. Yeah. Like, to me, they went about it the wrong way. Well, so what would be reasonable? Because I bring it up, the Chiefs rushed for this year 1,812 yards, right? And at one point, remember when we were talking about that they were on pace for 2,000 yards? Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of that was Patrick Mahomes running. Right.
They ended up finishing, 25th running the football at 1,812. You know who had less than 1,800 yards rushing last year? The Chicago Bears. Do you know how many rushing yards the Chicago Bears had this year as a team? 2456. 2456. Like about a 41.2% increase in their rushing production.
And all they spent on it was a 7th-round draft pick. Now, they had DeAndre Swift.
They had Swift. His yards per carry went up like a yard. Menangai, is that how they pronounce it? The 7th-rounder, who was 7 picks after Brashard Smith, they added. And they gave him the ball consistently once he got up to speed. In the second half of the year, he was consistently part of the equation. And for a bit there, he was the lead back when Swift was down, right? But they ran the ball effectively. Now, did they invest in the line? Yes. I think they had another draft pick as well.
And Joe Tooney.
And Joe Tooney was that. But Joe Tooney is kind of a slightly above average run blocker. It's his pass blocking that he's really known for. So it's not like Joe Tooney was the reason why they went out and ran the ball, right? And so, to me, I think that's what we're looking for in Kansas City. I think you're looking for like a 700-yard gain. You're looking for Eric Bieniemy to have done his homework in Chicago. Here's why. You're looking for Brett Veach to add at least one, if not multiple running backs. Right? If Brashard Smith played the role of Menangai and you got a lead back either with a 2nd-round draft pick, a 1st-round draft pick, a 3rd-round draft pick, or in free agency, and Brashard Smith was your second guy in that mix, I think you're okay with that.
And I think the tricky part is they're not just going to have to get 700 more yards from the running backs. They're probably going to have to get 900 more yards from the running backs. I don't think Patrick Mahomes is going to rush for 440 yards next year. So you're going to have to find a way to increase your output at the running back or in running the ball in a year in which you should expect a significant drop off in those numbers from the quarterback. That's the problem I had with the Chiefs running game last year. It wasn't just that they were 25th; it's that they were 25th of the quarterback that ran for 440 yards.
Yeah, they acquired Joe Tooney, and they drafted. I looked it up, Ozzie Trapillo in the 2nd round, who ended up being their starting left tackle. Those are the big increases on there. And you're right. And Caleb Williams was a part of that rushing attack, but Caleb Williams was running the ball the year before as well. Mm-hmm. So I do think that Andy Reid may have all the passing schemes. Okay, great. But Eric Bieniemy better bring the running part of the equation. And whatever the running schemes are, and a commitment to it.
Yes.
And I think it's clear the running back by committee is the way it's what Detroit uses. They've run the ball well for 3 years now.
Yep.
It's what the Bears use. Like your
The
lead,
Seahawks had been using.
the lead rushing teams.
The Patriots.
Patriots use multiple backs. Here are your leading rushing teams. Buffalo, James Cook led the league in rushing, and Josh Allen we know is part of that equation as well. But they used Davis. They used other backs as well. It wasn't just Cook. Baltimore is second. Derrick Henry's president of that club. But, they had 2,600 yards rushing. We know Lamar Jackson's part of that, but he wasn't completely healthy. They were still second. Bears were third. Commanders were fourth. Giants fifth. Patriots sixth. Rams seventh. I mean, the Patriots, the teams in the Super Bowl, the Patriots are sixth, and the Seahawks are 11th in running the ball. They tied for 10th. 2,096 yards rushing. The Final Four, the Rams are up there. As I said, the Rams are 7th. And who was the other?
Broncos.
And the Broncos, they come in at 9, 11, 13, 15, 16th.
16th.
So all four were in the top half.
Yeah.
And I imagine the Broncos.
16th
And they're
after
all over
losing-
2,000 yards, by
And
the
that's
way.
16th after losing their starting running back
Yes.
to an injury, and they still managed to run for 16.
Yeah.
Now, that's what I was going to say. They probably would have been higher if Dobbins doesn't go down.
Yeah.
That's what Dobbins does.
So, I mean, like that's what you're looking for.
Like
is you're looking for
5.3 per carry.
Yeah, but Eric Bieniemy's job is to come in and make this running game better.
Yeah.
And if you do, then you play action off of it. And we've talked about it all year. They're aware that these other teams are under center.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the good news is, how's the chemistry going to be with Pat and the receivers if he's not throwing to them? Well, you don't have to worry about that as much in the running game,
No.
right? Like, especially if you're going to run downhill, which is what I think they need to get to. And they've got an offensive line. I mean, Creed Humphrey is about as wide a guy as you see on the field. Trey Smith is a giant guard, okay? And all anybody talks about when it comes to Josh Simmons is how strong he is.
Yeah.
And so, and then you've got a tackle playing left guard. Like it is not a personnel problem on the offensive line.
No.
Now, and Jalen Moore's 300-plus pounds if he's going to end up being the guy. I still think that it may be an offensive tackle that the Chiefs end up taking with their first pick, and I will have no
Kid from
problem with
Utah.
that. Kid from
Should be
Miami.
there. Yeah.
I mean, I think those are the top two offensive tackles on most boards right now. I'd have no problem with them making sure that Patrick Mahomes is taken care of and running lanes are open. But I do think that they have to run the ball. I don't know that it's going to come from the running back position at pick 9 or even with a trade down, but they have to run the ball better.
Yep.
And like I said, Ben Johnson came in to the Bears with the same principal people. They improved the offensive line, but schematically he had a commitment to it. He knew how to coordinate it. The blocking schemes need to be there. We've heard Matt Derrick talk a number of times about whether or not the blocking schemes are legit anymore. They've got to get it all figured out because that is their path to being playing in a Super Bowl in the near future. We'll take a break. Our path is going through Clinkville. Danny Unleashed is next.
All right, who are the two players the last time the top two picks in the NBA draft met in college the previous season? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
in a while, we have to bring out the big dog.
Yeah.
Oh, God help us. It's time for Danny Unleashed. Sponsored by Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. Go to eastonroofing.com for more.
Well, Danny Unleashed. It's that time of the week.
You got it.
Danny Klingscale brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing, Kansas City's best. Whether it's your home, your business, Easton Roofing is the one to call.
They are.
Joe and his team are absolutely fantastic. No payment collected until you're 100% satisfied. Find them online at eastonroofing.com. If you own a business, how about having a complete plan so you'll know? And working around your business so that you don't disrupt all the traffic flow. You still need customers. You still got people coming. Easton Roofing, top-notch professionalism. Organization, give you the whole plan, how it's going to lay out. So take advantage of it. Go to eastonroofing.com. That's eastonroofing.com, offering turnkey solutions for property managers, business owners. Go right now to eastonroofing.com. Danny, how are you, buddy?
Well, I'm not happy that we've gone back to bone-chilling temps, but hey, and I'd like to also point out that on a horrible cold weekend like this, if you'd like to keep your golf game in fine tune, another Spiker enterprise is Back Nine Golf.
Okay.
At 75th and Metcalf. So
very good.
With indoor bays, so you can do that too. So.
Is that where we'll find you this weekend?
I'm not, for some reason I don't react well to hitting the ball indoors. So I keep my indoor golf is generally fake golf, golden tee.
Okay.
I play golden tee. I'm pretty good at that.
Do you watch tennis, by the way? Did you watch Australian Open?
I've watched quite a bit of the tennis. It's hard not to not find out what went on because it's.
Well, it started at 9:30 last night, so you had a chance to get in on it.
Right.
A lot of times it's not starting till midnight or 1 or.
I mean, it's pretty amazing that. One of the most amazing breaks. I guess anybody all-time great deserves a great break every now and then, but Djokovic was going to lose.
Yeah.
In the quarters for sure, and then the other guy got hurt, and so he gets to play Sinner, and hey, you beat Sinner. There's no second guessing.
And he's going to go through Alcaraz, so if he wins it,
yeah. I mean, it's like imagine if you had a ticket to those semifinals. That was 12 hours of high quality tennis. I think that they don't
empty the. You get ones that you get both.
I think you get the semifinals. Yeah.
Wow. God bless.
Yep.
Yeah, because I hung in there for a while, but
I saw the end this morning. But I had already seen. I went on. It went through my email feed that he had won. So. My wife's, she didn't know, so she was into it, which I can always tell because she yells and screams quite a bit while watching the tennis.
While watching the tennis.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We'll make sure we clarify that. Someone make sure you got the reaction.
Oh, yeah.
You got a reaction.
Believe me,
yeah.
She yells and screams in various venues. For good and for bad.
Yeah.
For better or for worse.
Good to know.
For richer and poorer.
What's at stake in your mind for this KU BYU matchup?
I think it's a chance for Kansas to reassert the fact that Allen Fieldhouse, which they did against Iowa State, I thought that was an important game because the bloom had come off the Allen Fieldhouse rose a little bit. They've been beaten a few times over the past few seasons and not necessarily even by the best teams. So a great team comes in like Iowa State, hadn't lost. You whomp them, and here's Brigham Young, outstanding team. Somehow almost stole that last game that they played against Arizona. And if you handle them, I think that reasserts, the fog is a dominant thing. If you go out and lose to Brigham Young, what's that, that would be 3 Allen Fieldhouse losses this year, I think. And it just it takes that veneer of invincibility away from the other teams, I think, a little bit, that they're less intimidated to come in there and think we got no chance, the refs are going to be against us, Kansas will, a 12-point lead is not enough late, all those things. So I do think it's an important game. In the grand scheme of things, I don't think in the end Kansas is probably going to be vying for a top seed or anything, even if they win this game. So I don't know if, and I don't really like their chances of winning the league, but I think for that standpoint, there is an opportunity here. And, you got a great head-to-head matchup. I hope we get a college basketball broadcast and not an NBA draft preview broadcast.
Oh.
Which really bothers. I don't like watching a college basketball game where the whole emphasis is on the NBA because I think it's a mistake. For one thing, I think it's a broadcasting mistake because the large majority of your audience who's watching a college basketball game cares about the college basketball game, especially in a day and age where these players will be on your campus for 4 months. I just don't really believe, and maybe I'm wrong, that I think Kansas fans, for instance, a lot of them became Chicago Bulls fans because Kirk Heinrich went to the Chicago Bulls. Are people all swelled up with pride that Joel Embiid is a fine NBA player and he went to KU for a minute? Or that, Andrew Wiggins is
I think there's more pride in
Embiid player,
than Wiggins just because Embiid's better.
Right, but I just don't think it's the same. So
no, I agree.
I would say that, concentrate on this college basketball game, which should be a fine one, and also there's other really good players on both teams. So, it's an important matchup, but I would tend to want to hear you talk about this in the terms of what it means for this game.
Yeah, and even if it wasn't the NBA draft thing, if it was just two great players on each side, that's still giving short shrift to the rest of the players in the team, particularly, Kansas and BYU.
I don't think there's anything wrong with talking about the biggest story.
But having it be...
I just don't want it to be I don't want them to belabor it.
I hear what you're saying on that, but I do think, to use the term, what's at stake here? I mean, you mentioned Allen Fieldhouse. I think that's a great point, is put some shine back on that and have people be intimidated when they come in there. But also, when is Kansas going to get back to being Kansas in this league?
Right.
I mean, they're the sixth best team,
and have been
according to the bracketology.
Even
and they're only
recent...
sixth, not second, not third. So 14 championships in a row, now sixth, and this is kind of where they've been. So I mean, I think the whole program could stand to be like, BYU, get back in your place. You're BYU, we're Kansas.
Right.
And
exactly.
So,
I mean, there's no question that the best program in the league right now is Houston.
As far as consistency,
it's not Kansas,
and it might be Arizona,
right? And Arizona is bidding again for the last couple of years, and he's doing a great job there of putting them back front and center. Houston's a little ahead of them because they started being real good again sooner. But there's Arizona's a better program right now, no doubt.
Where is program-wise? Where is Kansas now in the Big 12?
I would say third. Still.
Third?
I mean, you won a national championship fairly recently, and so I think that still carries plenty of weight. And then you still have grand history. I mean, they're going to be playing their 1,000th game at Allen Fieldhouse, and
I do think Texas Tech, Iowa State, and BYU are nipping at your heels, though.
Oh yeah,
because BYU's been good here for a few years. They won at Allen Fieldhouse a couple of years ago. Iowa State is not going anywhere. He's had them up and running now for a while, and Texas Tech has been around for now 3 or 4 years where they're
they're close. So I don't think they're there's a half dozen teams that are all in the same kind of stratosphere. Now you do have more history, so I do think that still counts for something. And but I would say right now third. I mean, Houston's a wagon year after year now.
Yeah,
and Houston and then Arizona looks like they're going to be. They've, like I said, they've returned to greatness a little bit later than Houston has surged into greatness, and Houston doesn't have great history. They have some, but not great. And it used to be like headline news when Kansas was even playing a close game. You didn't even it really got borderline kind of boring. You'd say you'd want the other squad to get at least a double-digit lead or something so that you knew you'd have a game on your hands with 10 minutes to go. I'm sure, Kansas fans didn't want to have a game. They wanted to have they wanted to see the walk-ons play at the end. But much of my entertainment the last 3 years when I covered Kansas games was thinking about the betting line at the end.
I think I want to.
Oh, I don't know if they're going to cover.
Yeah.
I wasn't betting on the game. I just knew a lot of people in the building probably had, and here we were teetering on a 13-point line or something. That was part of the entertainment.
KU. Let's go back. I want to bring up Houston here as well, but KU versus Arizona versus Houston here of late, right? So Tommy Lloyd got to Arizona. His first year was 21-22.
Right, and I don't think they were great that year. I don't believe right away.
Okay, so 21-22. In the preseason, they were unranked. The high for the year, second. Their final ranking, second. They were pretty good.
That was pretty good. Did they fall back his second year?
For next year, it started preseason 17, reached a high of 4, finished 8.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Third year, preseason 12, reached a high of 1, finished 11. Last year, preseason 10, reached a high of 9, finished 15.
Yeah, so 11 and 15 the last couple of years, certainly good on the
but
heels.
But 2, 8,
on
11, and 15, and a high watermark in the year, 2, 4, 1, 9, and he's won this year.
And I think he's established that he is a fine coach.
Yes, I think he can coach, and I definitely think he can recruit,
right.
Which was what we knew of him when he took the job. Here's Houston in that same span. Preseason, this is 21-22. Preseason 15, high of 6, finished 15. Preseason 3, high of 1, finished 2. Preseason 7, high of 1, finished 3. Preseason 4, high of 2, finished 2nd.
Yeah.
This year, preseason 2, a high of 1, and to be determined.
Yeah, they are clearly the best program right now.
Yeah. Did I do the KU ones?
No, you didn't.
All right, 21-22. Preseason 3, high of 3, finished 3. 23, preseason 5, high of 2, finished 4. 24, preseason 1, high of 1, finished 19. Last year, 1, unranked. So unranked and 19 in the final polls.
Yes, so these games and
this year preseason 19,
run,
high of where they are right now, 14.
And the stretch run of this season are important to the momentum of the program. And, also the whole dynamics of the health situation with Bill Self. Would one more big run for him make him think, hey, this is the time to walk away? I've already seen that we can fall off a little bit. Do I want to, ride out on a white horse after a great season?
What can we, listen, who won the championship in 20?
Nobody.
Or 21?
Baylor.
And their head coach is still there.
Right.
Their lead assistant has a head coaching job in the league. And who are the two teams that are 1-7? Baylor and K-State. What about the Drew approach seemed to be working on all cylinders and is now seemingly falling off the cliff?
Well, I think we have to see maybe another year of, because they were good last year too.
I just think it is striking that Jerome Tang is right next to the guy he used to be right next to.
Right.
Interesting.
Well, he better hope that he gets another year to try and show us that he can coach. But
I think the $18 million buyout, he probably will. But I think there's an element of listen, as I say this, I don't know, I'll try to find the right way to phrase it. The religion card.
Right.
And I don't mean it as a card to be played, but I think it's an important part of Jerome Tang and Scott Drew.
He made it a super important part of this year's recruitment. They went to Europe and had some association with a church-based recruiting organization.
Right. Well, and I think that worked. I think there are parents that are like, hey, all things being the same, my kid's going to get an education wherever he goes. He's going to play at a high level wherever he goes. But here we've got faith as a bigger part of the equation. That's where I want to go. Well, where does that rank now? Way down from money.
I think it's hard to do too, because you are restricting yourself in many ways. I mean, Virginia pulled it off for a little while, and then I think he probably said, First of all, look at the landscape, money,
Yeah.
and
Virginia's got plenty, by the way.
But he openly talked about Virginia being a faith-based program, and so he made it work for a while. I think it's a difficult path to tread, and it certainly can work. They won a national championship. They were number one another year when they lost. So, but I think in anything if you said, I want a bunch of guys who are borderline, are going to start a fist fight on every game. You can't have a whole team full of them. You can't have a whole team full of guys who, want to go to prayer meeting afterwards, too. It's just too restrictive.
Any criteria that systematically cuts off, eliminates
a large group of people. I mean, no. I mean, Brigham Young cannot run a basketball program with all Mormons. No chance.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd lose. So.
I've always think it's been pretty amazing how they do find coaches that are of the faith, though. They've always do that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the pool is bigger than we realize. If you're,
I mean, there's certainly, and in football, I think it's almost a little bit easier to do, because they created an environment where, in a different time, where they were playing 25-year-old men, on the football field after their mission. So. It's a different world now. Right. Money's number one.
Yeah. And I mean, I do think I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with K-State and Baylor. We'll talk more about that. Danny Klinkskill's with us. A little Danny Unleashed, brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing. Easton Roofing's got you covered when it comes to your siding as well. They'll be happy to help you out. Did you know that they offer siding? If you didn't, go to eastonroofing.com using brands like James Hardy, LP, SmartSide, Alside, Certainteed. Their team provides full design support, including a visualizer tool. You can preview the colors, the styles, right there on your actual home. You'll make a confident decision with Easton Roofing. Don't forget, Easton Roofing does your siding as well. Find them online at eastonroofing.com, where integrity matters.
All right, the Lavetta Delicatessen, end of the hour answer. Who were the two players the last time the top two picks in the NBA draft met in college the previous season?
Boy, this is not an easy question.
No.
Didn't go back very far. Goes back 4 years.
Yeah. Well,
so 22?
That would require that I remember who the top two picks in the NBA draft are.
November 26, 2021, Duke against Gonzaga in Las Vegas, and that was Paolo Banchero against Chet Holmgren. There have been two other instances in the last 10 or years or so. One of them was in 2017, UCLA-Washington. That was Markelle Fultz against Lonzo Ball. And November 12th, 2013, in Chicago, the Champions Classic, KU Duke, Andrew Wiggins, Jabari Parker.
Jabari Parker. Oh, God, that did not hold up.
No.
Well,
they didn't hold up that night. Game just
Andrew
won by
Wiggins.
11.
I mean,
neither one of them.
No.
Well, there's a lot of them in there thinking, listen, I mean,
Wiggins
Banchero and
at least has been a good
Holmgren
player.
Holmgren and Banchero are the real deal.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really good. But Fultz and Lonzo Ball,
Yeeks.
I mean, they're barely in the league.
At least Wiggs got a title.
What were the other?
Wiggins and Parker.
Yeah, that Wiggins has been okay.
You know, sometimes you just are like, who? Lonzo Ball? I mean, are you just buying into the hype or something? I mean,
that's a lot of buying.
No shot. No, I mean, what the hell?
Number 2 overall pick. That's a lot of buying.
They're supposed to know.
Yes.
These are supposed to be basketball experts. You know, and you and I could look at it like, no.
The shot was never there. Now, he has added it. He's made it better, but he can't stay healthy now. That's part of his problem. At UCLA that year, he was 73% from 2. Right? So, when he went to the rim, he got there. He led the country in assists at 7.6 and averaged almost 2 steals a game. That's what they had. They thought that they were getting
Jason Kidd or something.
Yes. I mean, 15.
And they were getting Jason's kid.
15, 6, and 8 at almost 2 steals a game. Shooting from the floor, 551, and from 3 he shot 412. He didn't look that bad.
I guess I'll take it back a little. But also, there was also all kinds of things swirling around him that you
his dad was a
didn't
big
want to
pain in the
deal
ass.
with. I mean, ugh.
Yeah, but it's a pretty good year.
Yeah, that is a pretty good year. I'll back down a little.
Yeah, I'll back down on that one.
I'll back down a little bit.
He didn't really shoot the 3 at all, though, in the league until about 3 years ago when his free agency was coming around. He was coming off all the injuries and everything, and I don't even know what he's doing this year. My team is so bad, I'm not paying attention to the NBA this year. Everybody on my team got hurt. Name a hurt guy, I got him. and I'm sure I did a bad job, too, in the draft. The damn software, my draft software, crapped on me.
You sound like Jerome Tang.
I am all excuse. I was unprepared. No, I will freely admit I was unprepared for this year's auction.
Were other people in the auction, were they being unfair and having guys who weren't supposed to?
Yeah, were they drafting?
I drafted. Had auction 3 guys who can't play.
Yeah. What do you make of? Did you hear his comments?
It's crap.
You heard him though. You heard the comments.
I absolutely heard him.
What do you? You don't buy it for a second?
Well, I think that there's some validity to the argument that the lands, the ballpark shape is shifting, but everybody else has to deal with it. And even like I was reading Kellis Robinette's Q&A today in the Star about K-State, and he's like he can't even figure out which 3 guys he's talking about. And then he tries to pinpoint him. He says, well, I don't think any of these guys would have, no matter what the rules were, I don't think they'd be playing for K-State. I think it was the, Blazing Saddles restaurant. The last
sheriff.
No, the last act of a desperate man. I mean, he just is grasping at straws now. You don't go out there and make excuses like that.
I agree. I think what he's saying is true, but everybody's dealing with it. And now is not the time to say it. And nobody from K-State appreciated it. They don't want to hear it right now.
Especially after you lose while scoring in the 50s. I mean, just against a not-so-great team.
Yeah.
I mean, that is not the time to roll this out.
Well, and whenever you talk about how hard you work when you're losing, Like, oh, we'll get it figured out.
We'll get it because
me and my staff, we're
relentless.
We're relentless. Like nobody.
No,
we want you to be successful.
Right. Shut up.
I mean, we don't care about because you want to know. You want to know. Here's the other. Because here's the other reason why. You want to know who's not relentless when it comes to their work. As a coach, what coach is not? Who's not there every minute of the day? There at 4, not leaving till midnight, and you know who it is? Who sends their assistants home? Kurt Signetti.
Right.
Like he blew up a lot of stuff this year, and one of them is you got to be in here before the sun comes up, and you ain't leaving till almost midnight.
Right.
He blew that up because like that was one of the things that who was telling us that that his I can't remember if it was Trent.
Is that Trent?
I can't remember if it was Trent or who, but that like listen, I'm not saying they don't work long hours, they do, but I think he's saying like he makes the coaches leave at like 8.
Well,
if they're still there at 8 at night,
I think
he's like, get out of here.
He's a smart man who's coached for a long time and realizes that, hey, when I was coaching 30 years ago, we had to literally watch film through a projector in real time.
Yeah.
Now I can get cut-ups of anything I want, and anybody who's coached that long should know that you should be able to do like 10 times the work in half the time.
Yes.
And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Most of those football coaches, they like hanging out with their buddies, eating pizza and drinking beer at 8 o'clock instead of being at home. They do. But they've got excuse. Oh, boy, it's a grind, honey. You know, everybody else in the league is shut up. It's pathetic. I mean, the technological advances are just, with each passing year, just amazing what you can do. Give me 3rd and a foot. All of them.
Here's 50 plays.
For the last 3 years from the Bengals. Boom.
Yeah.
There they are. That would take, I don't know, 15 hours before to do that. Now it takes 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're running that. Down in my notes. AI. Boom. Go home.
Yeah, Signetti was an amazing guy to listen to. That's pretty good. Just walked right past the best line. Boom, go home. Yeah. But he talked about how many things he learned at every single stop. And usually you get a guy who's older, may have set in their ways. He's picked up, he's like a 62-year-old coach who's blowing everything up, like almost like he's 35. It's rare to see someone.
Right, and he's not sitting around moaning about the NIL and everything else. He's embracing it. He's got a good NIL situation.
They've replaced.
He's made it. He's inspired them.
Right.
Like the most important part that I one of the things like about the Mark Cuban aspect, which Mark Cuban I don't think year one Mark Cuban was given him money. Mark Cuban said, "I've never given money to the athletic. I've always given to the academics at Indiana." Which, by the way, props because that's me at Syracuse. Smaller check.
Slightly
little smaller.
Smaller check than Mark Cuban.
You're not giving the Mellencamp check?
No. The Mello. John. No,
he's
I'm not.
supposedly right there with Cuban as far as the amount of money.
No, I am not. But he said he'd never given money to athletics before, but he met Kurt Signetti and he liked what he heard, and so he gave him money. And you know that's part of your job too, like in the college ranks, is to inspire those guys to give you the money.
The only thing I will say, I'll at least give credit to Jerome Tang for saying the words as the CEO of this program.
Yeah, which is more what it's like.
You used the phrase, which is accurate. That I give him credit for that. But then, then he acted very un-CEO-like by saying, "What am I going to do? Help me! Help me!"
Yeah,
they're changing the rules. He should have cried. When you got to be embarrassed when you're sitting at a podium and you know that the only reason your ass is going to even have a chance of being there next year is because some boob wrote a contract that owes you $18 million if you leave. He's sitting there with a loaded gun that has $18 million written on it. I mean, if he didn't have it, he's out. He's out. 100%.
Yes.
I wonder how that feels. I'm the only reason I'm going to be here next year.
Better on your yacht.
Right. Yeah. I'd almost say I can't do this.
I would not. Every penny. I want every penny. I would have no problem.
No, what I'm saying,
every penny.
I'm saying, fire me.
Yeah.
Why do I want to go out and lose a bunch of games next year? I stink at this. I suck.
It'd be a great. He's trying to get fired.
Somehow, it's like one of those movies where you're trying to spend all the money, you know, or here's $1 million. You got to get rid of it.
Tang's Millions.
I mean,
trying to think where there was one where somebody was trying, like their goal was to get fired, and Ted,
right, Ted too.
The teddy bear, he's in there. He's like, goes in there and he goes, all right, listen. You know, the guy won't fire him. He's trying to get fired from the grocery store. He won't fire him.
Right. I mean, it's.
Listen, Gene Taylor is the one that wrote the contract. I get why they did it.
I don't.
Well, listen, it was. I think it's something to learn. I think Gene Taylor may lose his job on this as well. But the idea was they'd gone to the Elite Eight. They had a year where they regressed a little bit, but they were still feeling the vibe. I mean, and Arkansas called. And they're like, well, they want this guy. He's pretty good. We can't let him get away. And I'm sure Arkansas was going to give him more money per year. I mean, who knows how interested Arkansas was.
Right.
But clearly it was like, listen, I can't give you $5-6 million a year. But what I can give you is you're not going anywhere. We're happy with you. You stay here. We'll put you're going to get every year of this contract because it's going to be so prohibitive for us to walk away. You know you're going to get it all. And I think that is one of the sad things is I think Gene Taylor and K-State really wanted Jerome Tang. Jerome Tang really wanted K-State, and it's gone to hell in a handbasket. And that's unfortunate because I think the intentions were good, but it is you cannot do it. Like you need to pay more per year and be able to get out.
Right, and he's prioritized something that we said money's most important.
Yes.
Not faith, not whether these are nice guys or whatever. Money's the most important. You inspire money by winning, not by having a nice bunch of guys.
Yeah.
In a program, and
but think about this.
I mean, he's an appealing character when he wins because he's got the little lisp and he's enthusiastic and everything. I'm glad they finally teed him up and God, he's at half court. I mean, he's 20 feet onto the court sometimes. I mean, he could literally play out. He could play the game. He'd never get called for being out of bounds when he's coaching. Sorry, you're out. Oh, I was? I spend the whole game on the court. What are you talking about? So then he's just a comic figure when he's bad.
Yeah.
So it's
but think about this. Like, why didn't somebody there say, let's spend the money on Brad Underwood? You know what Brad Underwood's making right now at Illinois?
I don't think it's one of the tops.
He's at like 4.5.
And he's
not 10.
And he's clearly proven that he'll leave someplace.
Well,
he left the job after a year.
But that's my point is like, when he got to Illinois, that wasn't where he was at. They just redid his deal and took him to 4.5, which means he's been in the threes probably when he got to Illinois until this most recent deal. And K-State didn't step up and pay him. I understand that Jackass at Wake Forest screwed it up when running off Frank Martin.
Right.
And when he did run off Frank Martin for not making Underwood the guy. But where's everybody else been on, saying, look, here's the check. That guy, go get him. Like Underwood.
Proven winner, dyed in the wool purple.
Yes. And like, as you sit here, that's the problem is no one wants to write the 18 and then go, okay, we got to write 8 more to Illinois to get him out. That's the buyout on that. And then we got to give him like 5.5 per year. But if you'd have done it originally, he'd be sitting at probably roughly the same figure that Jerome Tang's at.
Yeah. It's a mess. I mean, it's really bad. And you're in a situation now where you're probably going to stink again next year. Okay? Then the program doesn't become that appealing to the next person. Brad Underwood might not even want to come then. You're like, oh, really?
But does anybody, I mean, like, I actually think that's off the table. With Indiana winning in football, that's off the table. If you can inspire the money guys.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I think there's a question of that when your program's been in the crapper for 4 years.
Agreed. I mean, if you went to Underwood, like, okay, listen, you go to his agent, we're interested. All right, A, B, C, D, and E. These are the 5 biggest money guys. Go find out if I'm there, what they're coming in with. Because I'm not going to take $5 million myself and then have a roster for $250K.
Right.
Because it's not going to work. And so I think that's where you find out. But I mean, I do think it's, listen, I've talked about it a lot that I think the SEC will have a hard time keeping up with the Big Ten if it just does become about spending. Because that's why I went through the endowments, just how big the endowments are on the Big Ten in comparison to the SEC. You know, Texas is an exception. Texas A&M is an exception. But then after that, the Mississippis and the LSUs, they ain't got squat, right? Where Michigan's got, 14, 15, 17 billion, depending upon which thing you look at, and LSU has 800 million, right? It's just an overall gauge of how much wealth is in and around your school. But that's kind of true of K-State, too. I mean, we did the whole list, and K-State was a ways down there on their endowment as well. So if it is just going to be a spending spree on still paying the coaches the big bucks.
And also, we know what's number one there. I mean,
football.
Yeah. I mean,
well, I think
although there is a heritage in basketball, and there are people who really care about basketball. I'm not saying
they've
totally a football school.
They've given him money. That's the problem. Signetti got money. Signetti won. Then they gave him money, and he won again.
Right.
So you're happy to keep giving Kurt Signetti money because he's showing you he knows what to do with it. They had, by a lot of people's estimation last year, the highest paid player in college basketball.
And they've got it again.
And they stunk.
And they've got it again. I think he's one of the high. Haggerty's one of the highest paid.
One of or the?
I don't know if he's the, but he's I think he was considered the top catch in the portal. I think so. He had to have been paid close to the most. So 2 years in a row, you've had basically the most expensive player in the country.
I asked Gene Taylor this past offseason, over the summer. I said, "Well, how about it?" He said, "Oh, I think he's really learned the lessons. He's learned you got to go in early and not wait till the end and just end up in a bidding war. You got to build a team, and it hadn't been the case.
No,
I mean that hasn't been the case. So, I mean, like
if it was me, I'd try to find the money. I mean, you're going to go through another season with the Bramlage empty.
Well,
that's a lot of money every night. That's
the point I've made. Like when people are like, "Well, they can't afford to fire him." I'm like, "Can they afford to keep him?"
Right. I mean,
either way, you're hemorrhaging costs,
money in the long-term damage of the program.
But 5,000-6,000 tickets per night times 17 or 18 home games. It's a lot. That's a lot.
I mean, what is it?
It ain't $18 million, but it's a lot.
Well, hang on.
I don't know what the tickets go for.
And the down the road. I mean, it isn't just
5,000 times. Let's call it 18 times. What do you think the average ticket is? $30?
Oh, I think it's more. Let's say 50, just to do a round figure.
50? Okay.
Yeah. And I'm not counting. I know the students don't show up.
$4.5 million.
Right. Let's see. Right. That's right. And
that's
then
a
2 years
quarter of the money.
And then what?
It's exactly
this year they're going to hemorrhage that much, or close to it. Sell out the KU game, whatever, and then next year. So that's 2 years. There's $9 million in our little rough estimate here. You're halfway there.
Yeah.
So and plus the damage you're doing to the program.
Yes.
Which is not only on the court, but that turns into money as well.
Yeah.
How long do you want to be irrelevant as a basketball program? And how much longer does that take to get back up? The further you drop down, how that ramp is that much steeper to get back up.
Well, and I think one of the concerning things is like there were some rumblings that there was frustration from the football side on how much they were spending on basketball. We can talk about how Gene Taylor made that big point after Chris Kleiman answered no questions and left on his press, and they're like, this system's got to change and all that. Well, you're the guy stand and watch on because that was some of the rumblings amongst K-State people was that Kleiman and the football staff are like, why are we spending all this money over here on the basketball? Like, we're the ones who pay the bills around here. Why isn't that money coming over here for us? And so if that's the case, that they're there's jealousy on how much basketball's getting, and then it's not performing. I don't think there's any way Colin Klein's not endearing himself to
Oh.
the boosters. And
I don't even think he has to work at it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's why it was. That's the other thing. That's why that was so unbelievably tone deaf. To be like, I don't even know if I have his phone number anymore. That line, to me, is like may have been the beginning of the end for Gene, because it's like, what, you don't have his phone number. Like, what do you? There's only one guy you're going to call. It's the only number you need. And if you knew you were coming to the Chris Kleiman goodbye, that call should have already been made.
Right. Or pretend it was made.
You should be standing out in the hallway waiting.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, because the reports were already out there. Before he'd even quit, the reports were coming from, what is it, Aggie? Or,
College Station.
College Station, that he's the next guy. Well, when the reports come from College Station, who do you think the source is?
Wasn't me.
The source. The source is the source.
The source is Colin Klein, for God's sake. All right, we'll take a break. One more with Danny Klingsky. A little Danny Unleashed, brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing, Kansas City's best when it comes to putting a roof over your family's head. I know. They've been up on my roof. They've been on my mom's roof. They're absolutely outstanding to work with. The customer service is fantastic. Their knowledge is unbelievable. Helped me out with a problem. Had a leak in the roof at my mom's house. It was great. Guys crawling up on, get up on ladders, get on the. I ain't doing that. Easton Roofing will do it. They're experts, whether you are working on your home or your business. Easton Roofing. Find them online right now at eastonroofing.com. Talking to Danny Klinkskill here on the program. A little Danny Unleashed. We've got the 2-minute drill coming up next segment. After that, Jay Williams scheduled to join us from ESPN. We'll talk a little bit about College Game Day. Going to be at Allen Fieldhouse live, 10 a.m. Central. Admissions free. Doors open at 8:30 if you want to go be a part of College Game Day there in Lawrence. Danny, how about these coach hirings? Anyone in the AFC actually get better in your mind?
I can't say that's a lot better. I can't say tangibly. I think anybody got a lot better, including the Chiefs.
Okay. You don't like the enemy switch?
No, I mean, I don't hate it. He's a familiar face. I think he has a way of reaching certain players with his style of coaching, but I far would have preferred any kind of outside voice.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel would have been my dream.
And who's to say? What it did is reaffirm that Andy Reid is in complete control. It's for better or for worse. Don't talk about Matt Nagy during a season where the offense is struggling. Next year,
don't talk about Eric
Bieniemy. It's Andy Reid. He wants familiar people around them, people he's comfortable with, and people who are comfortable with him being the man as far as the offense is concerned. And you just sort of being a message boy during the game.
I think one of the things it does, if they would be 8-9 next year, to me, can we say this? If they go 8-9, it's time for a change at the head job. Andy Reid, it's time to change.
I think it's time to start thinking about it.
I think it's time to start thinking about it now because he's 68 years old.
Well, there's so many things that are ridiculous for you to be doing on offense.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes was the 34th ranked passer in the fourth quarter last year. It shouldn't happen.
Well, it's one of the things we were talking about with Sam and Jeff and I this morning on our Red, Gold, and Bold about, you have Patrick Mahomes. Being 10th is not what you're looking for in offense. That's where they were 10th this year until the last 3 games. They fell all the way to 21st. The expectation with Patrick Mahomes is that you're going to be top 5.
Absolutely.
Right? That's where you need to be with Patrick Mahomes.
The consensus,
top 5.
You've got the best guy.
Right.
So if you're in the just barely above average, which is what 10th is, barely above average, that's bad.
To me, I think, and I want to be clear when I said be thinking about it. I'm not, because I'll get some jackass that'll call me and say, well, you said you wanted to fire him last year. No, I don't. There's no way you would fire Andy Reid right now. But you should be thinking about it, and it's what I've said, and we've resisted putting this out there, but I'll put it out there right now. There should be a win total that you must reach. We're in the, you can't have, this is not Tom Landry coming to the end with Steve Pallure playing quarterback, right? When Jimmy Johnson took over, it was Steve Pallure, and I don't even remember who else it was when they sent Tom Landry out. You cannot spend 4 years spinning your wheels watching Patrick Mahomes go from 31 to 35. Right? It is of the essence to be taking advantage of every year that you have Patrick Mahomes. And so to me, if you had gone and gotten Mike McDaniel and you went 8-9 and then you blow him out, you're like, listen, we just aren't on the same page, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. Right. But when you go and get Eric Bieniemy, we're not on the same page.
No.
You're saying, I know what the problems are. I will fix them. What I need is one of my chief lieutenants back with me, and I will get it done. And so if it doesn't work, then the problem lies at the head coaching job. So to me, I don't know that Clark Hunt will have the gumption to let go of Andy Reid, and I don't know if he's owed $60 million, if they'll write the check for it. But if they would go 6-11, or even if they go 8-9, which was a distinct possibility this past year with Patrick Mahomes,
right.
What do we think they were going to do?
They missed the playoffs with Patrick Mahomes.
Yes,
they were out.
Well, I don't think they were going to beat the Chargers. You just pointed out he wasn't throwing the ball well in the fourth quarter. Why would you think they were going to win that game? And then in the next 3, how many do you think they were going to win?
Maybe the Raider game.
Yeah, I think they were headed towards 7-10, 8-9 at best. If you turn around and Patrick Mahomes, even coming off the knee injury, you go 8-9 again?
Well,
I think all precincts have reported.
I thought of the conversations you guys have had about, how Andy Reid's offense used to get guys wide open when I was watching the NFC Championship game. And Kyron
wide
Williams
open.
walks into the end zone with nobody in the screen.
And then Jackson Smith
and Jigba
just kind of runs a straight line to the corner of the end zone, and no one covers him.
Right. So 2 touchdowns where they were high school open.
Yes. And you talked about it. Like, this is one of the things I like. I don't think the wide receivers were very well coached, right? I think there was just, you could just see the kid, and I say kid because that's what it felt like to me. It was like, bring your kid to work day. Every time Embry was at that podium, I'm sorry, he just does not command the room. Like, there's a difference between Embry at that podium and DB coach.
Dave Merritt.
Dave Merritt. You're like,
right.
Everyone, leader
of men.
Because they're listening to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like Embry, I'm like, no one's. No, like, this doesn't work. There's no way around it.
Simple enough to say, look at the 2 best receivers in the National Football League. Look at their attention to detail.
Yes,
look
and
at them run specific patterns.
Yeah, you said
plant their foot, move. Fake.
You said it. I think you said it. I don't know if you said it on air or during the break, but you said that receivers that actually run routes.
Yes, I said it during the break.
Okay, I mean, that's absolutely right. Now, I don't think that was Connor Embry, though. I think that's the flaw in the design of the offense. Like, they'd gotten so into
finding space,
right? That now what you need is to know where the guy's going to be,
right? Because I think Patrick Mahomes has certainly been negatively affected by the fact that he doesn't know where they're going, for one thing, and doesn't trust that they're going to be there, which is worse, really.
What was that chart, Curtis?
It was about the ability to beat man and zone coverage.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was separation.
It was average yards of separation.
But basically, it's one of the graphs, and where you want to be is in the upper right. It means you're good on both ends. Where you don't want to be is in the lower left. Well, they had 4 receivers graded for the Chiefs. Juju was above the fold when it came to getting open in the zone, okay? But he was back when it came to getting open man-to-man.
Which
the
is
other
understandable.
3, Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, and Rashee Rice, were bottom left.
Like where their names were crossing each other.
Yeah, they were all 3 considered below average against zone and man.
Separation score versus zone, separation score versus man. And you don't want to be in the lower left, and 3 of them were.
And when they're all there, that to me says, like, that wasn't all on them. Part of that's because everybody knows where you're going.
Yep.
Right. Agreed.
Like, if you tell a guy, I'm going to run a 15-yard out, it's a lot easier to cover a 15-yard out. And I cannot stress enough the most damaging thing to the fact that this offense needs an enema was the Chargers just destroying Rashee Rice.
Yeah.
They knew where he was going, when he was going to get the ball, and they were just destroying the man. I mean, like, there was no mystery.
To the point where they said it afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chiefs themselves said, geez, seemed like they knew what we were calling.
Yeah.
They're like they were in our huddle.
Yeah.
Major League, they did.
I mean, yeah, I told them. I mean,
that's all that was missing.
Crash Davis had sauntered across the field. We'd be like, okay, this is it. He just told them our plays.
That's all that was missing.
But that's the part that's scary for me.
Yeah, change needed to be made, and they really didn't. So, but now we know where it's simple. It's on Andy Reid to fix it.
Danny, great stuff as always. Appreciate it. We'll do it again next week.
We will indeed.
Yeah. We'll take a break. Come back. 2-minute drill coming up next.
All right, what is the only father-son pair to have won back-to-back NBA championships? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
car and get on the road. It's time to go across the country, 2 minutes at a time, for the biggest stories of the day, where they're happening.
Detroit, Michigan, Boston, Massachusetts, Las Vegas, Nevada, New York, Cleveland, Ohio, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
It's the 2-minute drill on the program.
Second half of the program begins right now. 2-minute drill. Jay Williams from ESPN going to join us in a little bit later this hour, talking about College Game Day coming to Lawrence, KU, BYU, Peterson versus DeMance. At least we hope. We're going to see Peterson out there. Kevin Harlan still to come in the 5 o'clock hour. Let's get the drill started right now. Chase McCabe, 102.5 The Game in Nashville, Tennessee, will lead us off today. Chase, how are you, buddy?
What's up, Soren? I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good. Robert Salah as head coach. I'm okay with that. We had Brian Daboll as offensive coordinator. I think that's a pretty strong tandem. What's the reaction to what they've done at the top of the coaching for the Tennessee Titans there in Nashville?
I think it's been mostly positive. I mean, you have some people that look at Salah's record in New York and go, well, hey, he wasn't very good there, and there were some coaching decisions that were questionable, but the defense was good. And then the same can be said for Brian Daboll of, okay, well, look at, some of the things he did in New York with the Giants. And now it's like, oh, wait, he's gonna be good at developing Cam Ward. He seems to really like Cam Ward. Look what he did with Josh Allen. So I think mostly it's positive. I really liked the introductory press conference. We can say he won the press conference,
okay,
which is certainly good. But I think it's mostly positive. This team has the 4th overall pick, $100 million in cap space, and they got 2 guys that are hungry to come in here and win games. And you got Jeffrey Simmons excited about playing under a solid defense. You got Cam Ward excited about working with Daboll. So I think overall it's pretty positive.
Yeah, okay. How much, we thought Matt Nagy was a no-doubter, was a no-brainer there. Do we know what the story was behind that? Was it ownership? Did GM, have that on his mind, and ownership had other thoughts? How did Matt Nagy not end up being in the equation, either as the coach or OC?
I mean, look, I thought it was going to be Matt Nagy. My co-host Joe Dubin and I said it weeks ago, like, yeah, it'll be Matt Nagy. They can go through this process, but that's who it's going to be. I think ultimately they were all blown away. I was told that it wasn't just Amy, the owner, that Borgonzi and Brinker and the whole brain trust were blown away by Salah's plan for Cam Ward. He had, Brian Daboll on his list of potential offensive coordinator candidates, along with others. I think Nagy might have been, considered there. I know Borgonzi went into this with, really high marks for Nagy. He knew him, worked with him in Kansas City, and so he certainly was very much in contention. But from what I was told, they were just convinced that, hey, you know what, Salah might be what this football team needs right now. They need a guy that, is as close to Mike Vrabel as they could possibly get. He's no nonsense. He says he wants to have a fast and violent football team that's going to talk a little smack, except he didn't say smack. And I think that's exactly what they're looking for. So I think everybody was convinced this is the right guy and ultimately went that direction. I'm now curious of what's going to happen with Matt Nagy, because it looks like he's been replaced there in Kansas City.
Yeah, he has been. And that was, we all knew that his time was coming to an end. That seemed to be pretty much common knowledge as the season was wrapping up. The assumption was that was happening because he's going to sail right into the Titan job. And when that didn't happen, it's like, oh, okay. So, yeah, it's interesting here. There's no doubt about what's going on with him. What are they going to do at number 4? What's the dream scenario with that number 4 pick?
I'll tell you what I want to do. I am obsessed and have a man crush, however you want to put it, on Ruben Bain out of Miami. I think he is a stud. I think he's going to be fantastic in the NFL. This team needs a game-changing pass rusher to pair with Jeffrey Simmons, and hopefully Femi Oladejo can develop into that. They took him in the 2nd round last year, but if they took Bain at 4, I would be so happy. But I understand the needs. You got to find Cam Ward some weapons. There are a couple of receivers that could be available there. They could obviously move back. I think everyone is intrigued by Jeremiah Love, even though I wouldn't take a running back at 4, but I would go Ruben Bain. that's my pick right now. I know we got a long ways to go with the Combine. The Senior Bowl is going on right now, so I could certainly be swayed one way or the other. But for me, that's my pick right now.
Okay, all right. Tennessee basketball. Rick Barnes has been, very consistent. In fact, they've never been lower than a 5 seed. Right now, bracketology has them as a 6 seed. This is kind of par for the course. It's kind of what's happening to all the SEC, as nobody's up there in the 1, 2s, and 3s. It's not been like it has been the last couple of years for the SEC. What do you think Tennessee is this year as we start to come down the stretch run of the conference season?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I really don't have a good answer. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. We're now in the point of the year where you pay attention to college basketball a little bit more. And I was watching their game the other night against Georgia, and I'm just sitting here going, this is a team that I think could be a lot better than they are. And then I'd watch more of the game and go, well, maybe they're not. So it's very weird, and I think you can say that for a lot of programs. You look at the SEC, and it's almost like what's happened in football, that the conference as a whole has gotten so good that they cannibalize each other. Sitting here with Vanderbilt, Vanderbilt went on this tremendous run to start the season, didn't lose a game, and then all of a sudden they lose 3 in a row. Now they've turned that around, but it just shows you how good the conference as a whole is. So Tennessee is really intriguing, but here's the thing. Rick Barnes just hit win number 850. He's a Hall of Fame coach. Everybody knows that. We can sit here and argue about Final Four appearances and championships, but you know what he can do in the regular season. I think this is where they start to hit their stride, and if they can stay healthy and just get into more of a rhythm, who knows what kind of run they can make, and maybe they can improve that seeding.
Lastly, Joey Aguilar, the quarterback for the Tennessee Volunteers, trying for his 15th year of eligibility there at Tennessee. Now, I think it's actually would be an 8th year of playing college athletics, but 4 of them were at the JC level, which is what he's trying to base his case on. Where is the optimism that he will be able to get another year and be back at Tennessee?
I think most Vols fans are kind of looking at that as, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, okay. Like, it's just kind of, this is where we are with college athletics, that things are happening that we never thought would happen. You got, a player that went pro in basketball and, played in Europe, and now he's re-enrolling at Baylor and is playing collegiate basketball again. I'm telling you, that kind of stuff is going to continue to happen. So nothing really surprises me. I don't know if it makes or breaks them if he's back. I thought he was really good for them. Wasn't elite. They got the kid from Colorado, and then they got a 5-star recruit, and then they got George McIntyre, who was highly recruited out of Nashville at Brentwood Academy. So I'll be curious of what happens at that position, but I think they are content with what they have with or without Joey Aguilar.
Okay. All right. We'll see how it works out in the long run. It's always fun to have lots and lots of lawsuits with your college athletics. We always enjoy that.
It just makes it.
Yeah.
It just means more.
Nothing like the pageantry, the band, the field, the Saturday, and the lawsuit and the lawyers. It just all goes together.
Hey, I'll say this.
Yeah.
About those lawsuits, everybody that made fun of Vanderbilt for a long time, you're calling those lawyers that graduated from Vandy Law to help with these lawsuits.
There you go. Said the Vandy guy. I love it. Chase McCabe in Nashville. Great stuff, buddy. We appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
You too, Soren.
Chris Domino, 680 The Fan in Atlanta, Georgia is next. Chris, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well, and a very smart man told me a very long time ago, $95 and a walk to the courthouse, and you, my friend, can have your own lawsuit.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. That's good. All right, do we like Kevin Stefanski in as the new head coach of the Atlanta Falcons?
Yeah, listen, I'm a 63-year-old man, and I'm not afraid to say he's a little bit more handsome than I thought he was going to be as he made his way to the dais. It's been really interesting because the Falcons hired Ian Cunningham as a general manager. So now we got our president of football,
Matt Ryan.
Rich McKay, the guy who has not been seen at one press conference unless he's been in a great disguise. That's good news. Stefanski, the last time they really did this, it was 2008, and it was Thomas Dimitroff. And remember the circumstances. Michael Vick goes to prison. Bobby Petrino leaves you high and dry, literally, before the season ends. and you were a mess. And it was Thomas Dimitroff, Mike Smith, and Matt Ryan all coming in. I don't know if you're entitled to strike lightning twice, but it almost feels like maybe, just maybe, the football gods are going to smile on you a little bit, and short of only having 5 draft picks, not a ton of money in free agency. And it's not going to be overly easy to make a better football team, especially when you don't know what you're going to do at quarterback. But at least I feel a little bit, as I like to say, I'm willing to date them. I'm willing to, I'll throw in. I don't want to be married. I don't want to elope. I don't want to get crazy about this. But there's at least something interesting that doesn't mean interesting in an uh-oh way, because it has just felt like uh-oh around here for way too long. And the results have shown that 8 years without being in the postseason, you have not done enough right to do just the bare minimum in the NFL.
Is Kirk Cousins done in Atlanta?
Yeah, it looks like they'd set it up. Look, I think they'd had enough of him. I don't really care what he thinks, to tell you the truth. He was a bad teammate. He opened up his mouth about something. There was a tampering charge to lose a draft pick. He's going around to the Super Bowl talking about the fact that he finally admitted that he was hurt, but it didn't behoove him because he was afraid of losing the job. I mean, we've talked about him. I know he's supposed to be a swell fella. I see his Instagram account with his kids, and I saw him on CBS, and he's getting rave reviews. I don't care. I don't feel that way about him. I don't even mind the fact that he's pitched his wares to make as much money as he has. I'm a capitalist, but I just think there's always been something a little bit, I don't know,
fake?
Phony? Yeah. And it was 2 years. It didn't work. The team didn't handle it well. The draft of Penix wasn't smart. I think he got panicky about admitting he was hurt when the stupid staff around here should have known he was hurt. It's a really good riddance. Not because he wouldn't be the best quarterback if he showed up in August. He's the best quarterback that you might even have a chance to get. But I just think it was time. I'm just ready to move on from him. Take the cap hit, spread it out over 2 years, and let's get this thing started again.
Yeah. All right. What are they looking to add in the offseason?
Yeah. Well, they need a quarterback. And I'm just going to tell you, this Michael Penix, he's now doing a couple of interviews. I think on opening week, I think I'm going to be good to go. And my partner and I had a little bit of a disagreement. It might be semantics. But he said, look, he's going to be rusty. I said, I'm not giving him the benefit of that doubt. He's played 12 games, and he wasn't very good. Rusty is the guy that's played for 6 years and is out for a year. This guy doesn't have enough NFL experience, and it hasn't been good enough where I'm going to call him rusty. He's still to be determined at best. And 5 surgeries, 2 on the shoulder, both knees. He's broken. He's like a really old 26 years old. And if they can get him under center, maybe he's got a chance. But I keep telling everybody, if your biggest attribute as a quarterback is you can throw a football really far, and now you've got 2 shoulder surgeries, 3 knee ops, and I'm supposed to believe that at 26 you're going to become much, much better, even if you have an offensive-minded coach, I'm not buying it. I'm not throwing him away with the bathwater. I just don't think that there's anything to go, oh, great, he might be back for opening day, because I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, it's
problematic.
It is problematic, and the question is, if not him, then who? And 8-9 the last couple of years have been just good enough to keep you away from getting a really high pick.
If the San Francisco Giants, 49ers, are willing to do a deal, I'd love to have Mac Jones here.
Yeah.
Stefanski comes from that Shanahan thing, and he's $4.5 million, so they're going to hold somebody hostage because Purdy might get hurt. I'm not even sure whether they would trade him, except that they're going to lose him in free agency after a year. I'd love for them to get Mac Jones and make it a real quarterback competition. And if Michael Penix loses, I don't care that he loses because I haven't paid him any big money yet.
Andrew Jones, Hall of Fame. The big rejoice down there in Atlanta for that.
Yeah, nice. I think Dale Murphy not getting in was sort of the iconic, longer-standing Braves fan bummer thing that he didn't get in the last time on the committee. Andrew did his time for 9 years. There are only a handful of guys that I think are Hall of Famers at 30 that maybe play their way out. I think Russell Wilson is starting to feel like maybe a guy if they hold his second half of his career against him. Andrew's second half of his career was held against him. But if Tom Glavine, John Smoltz, Greg Maddux, Chipper Jones, and others, while there's a bias because they were teammates, if 3 Hall of Fame pitchers tell me, and then I ask other guys, what would it have been like to pitch with him in center field for those 10 years, you go, oh my God, to look over my right or left shoulder to know that I had the best defensive center fielder maybe, arguably. And I know the Willie Mays things comes up, and the Ken Griffey Jr. comes up, but I can't believe they were any better than Andrew Jones. I'm not going to say he was better than them, but that's an incredible luxury. Then I asked some hitters over the last couple of years, because I've gotten to know Andrew really well. He was a terrible interview. Like, you'd appreciate this. He was the worst interview that me and my partner ever did. Like we said, he was banned. Banned. He was so terrible at it. Too soft-spoken, wasn't a good storyteller. He is so different now in the last couple of years. I've done 3 sit-downs with him that have been extended for events, and he's just a different guy, and he's more relaxed in his skin, and he's willing to tell more stories. So I'm really happy in that regard that this version of him is getting in. But I talk to hitters, and, you talk to guys who hit for a living, and the ball coming off the bat, they know, is it a single, is it a double, or is it an out? And every guy said, you have no idea, especially guys who played in this division with them, you have no idea how many hits I knew were not hits coming off the bat, that if I was playing in any other ballpark or against any other guy, I'm standing on second base. So that sort of goes with the 10 gold gloves to go, maybe it was time that he got in.
Yeah, I agree. Great stuff as always. We always appreciate the time, Chris Domino. Have yourself a fantastic weekend, my friend.
Yeah, and please, the next time, I'll give you a fax number, and I'd love to see the pretty pictures of all the ballparks that are getting built or not built in and around that area, because I'm telling you, I am fascinated by the business of the ballpark, whether it's a stadium or a baseball stadium, and I know that you guys have really hit from A to Z over that in the last few years.
Yeah, it's been dominating a lot of the conversation, for sure.
I'm sure.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Chris, you're the man, buddy. Appreciate it.
Buddy. Thanks.
With Brian D., WTMJ in Milwaukee, Wisconsin is next. Brian, how are you, buddy?
I am doing awesome. Happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday to you. Listen, the Giannis deal, now that he's broken down and looking susceptible to injury and his trade value has been tarnished as much as possible, now it's time to trade Giannis, right?
Yeah, it feels like it's over, doesn't it? And I think the big change that has happened is that it seems clear at this point, as of this week, that Giannis has finally gone to the organization and said, I'm done. And conversely, the organization is finally listening to offers. That's the big change, right? This was a cat and mouse game between Giannis and the organization, saying, it was like, an old relationship with a girlfriend when you were in high school. Like, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. They kept doing that over and over, and it finally feels like somebody hung up the damn phone finally. So I would be surprised if we don't see some sort of move by the trade deadline next Thursday, just because deadlines spur action. And if not, then certainly this offseason.
Brian D., relationship expert. I like it. That's fantastic. That is great. Yeah, I mean, my frustration, I think we've talked about it. I think I even said it to you like last year, like, this is inevitable. It's going to end. You don't have the cap space. You can't put the talent around. If it's about winning, you need to go ahead and flip this guy. I know everybody once said, wants to believe that you're going to get back and win a championship and go, but like the writing's been on the wall for a while. I mean, is anybody going to pay a price in the organization that they didn't make this move a year or two ago?
Well, I think that remains to be seen, depending on the return that they get for Giannis whenever they trade him, right? Whether it's, in 5 minutes or whether it's in a week or this summertime, because, John Horst, the general manager of the Bucks, deserves a ton of credit for, building a championship roster. And they did win a title in 2021 for the first time in 50 years, which is a legacy that'll live forever. He deserves credit for that. He equally deserves blame for the roster of horrific first-round picks outside of Giannis Antetokounmpo, who was not his pick. So he gets credit for building the roster in some respects. He gets a ton of blame for not building around Giannis. He took some swings that frankly didn't work, right? Like the Damian Lillard thing, you would try 100 times out of 100 and it didn't work out for them, and now they're stuck. So, I think it remains to be seen. And if they can get a haul back for Giannis, he's going to have another opportunity to try to retool this thing. And if he can't, then certainly, his job is going to be the first one to be disposed of.
Yeah, it seems like that writing would be pretty easy to read on the wall after, if he doesn't get the... I don't think he's going to get the package back that a lot of people, I think, are probably hoping, because you're not getting vintage Giannis. You're getting a guy that, you can't play all the time. I mean, he's still a great player, and I might be wrong. There are a lot of teams that star value... this will prop us up, and so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do get a massive haul there. We'll see.
I mean, to his credit, like he's been unlucky with some calf injuries. It's not like he's blowing out ACLs or Achilles or anything, and they're trying to be really cautious with calf injuries. So he's been unlucky, but he's still, definitively a top 5 player in the league, in my opinion, right? And that deserves a lot of, at bare minimum, draft capital, even if you're not getting an all-star level talent player in return. I think that's the way the Bucs are going to try and treat this, is let's get a rotational piece and as much draft capital as possible so we can break it down to the studs and rebuild.
All right, Matt LaFleur gets an extension with the Packers. Surprised?
A little bit, just because of how it all went down in Chicago, right? That game was in hand, and you blinked and they gave up 25 points and threw up all over their shoes in the fourth quarter. So I was surprised that they didn't decide to go in a definitively different direction. But, I mean, you look around the league, right? What happened in Green Bay is almost the antithesis of what happened in Buffalo, where Buffalo took an incredibly successful coach, and you've seen the dramatic fallout of that move and how the organization kind of looks like a bleep show in the aftermath of that. The Packers chose not to go that route. They chose the route of consistency and sustainability, and I guess we'll see which route is right in the next 12 to 18 months.
Yeah, okay. Jonathan Gannon fix everything on defense?
I don't think so. He's running a very similar scheme, from what I understand, to what the previous defensive coordinator was. So, you still have Micah Parsons, and that's going to cover up a lot of errors. So I think people were really disappointed in our state, Soren, to see them not go after Jimmy Leonard, a guy that is from Wisconsin, that was a highly successful defensive coordinator at the college level here in the state of Wisconsin, that's done a really great job in the NFL with Denver as he works his way up through the NFL ranks. I think people were really disappointed they didn't go that route instead.
Are they disappointed that Freddie Peralta was dealt to the Mets?
I almost feel like Brewers fans are understanding of the fact, after the immediate sadness of seeing a fan favorite and consistent player like Freddie Peralta traded, I think people understand, when you look at the situation from 30,000 feet, that he had a year left on his contract and was probably going to make $150 to $200 million on his next contract next summer. So you look at the moves the Brewers have made recently. They did this with Devin Williams. They did this with Josh Hader. They did it with Corbin Burns. I mean, they have gotten rid of guys early as opposed to late, and it's worked out for them. Like, they haven't gotten burned quite yet on one of those deals. So, as Major League Baseball is currently constructed, they can't operate like the Dodgers. They have to operate like the Brewers, and the Brewers have done a damn good job operating like the Brewers.
Yeah, I think it's I think they're the way to do it when you have limited resources is you got to if you always make decisions based upon what's best for the long haul. Eventually, you're stocked to where it's going to help you out in the short term as well. And it feels like that's where the Brewers are, right? That they've done so many things for the long haul that they do have the answer for who will replace Peralta. And so flipping him for more talent is going to make them better in 27 and 28. They're good. They're going to be good this year in 26 because of what they did in 23, 24, 25, right?
Yeah, and it's hard to argue with what you just said, right? They have the #1 farm system in baseball through all the rankings. So, like, their up-and-coming guys are amazing. And people forget because, they got just absolutely annihilated by Shohei and the Dodgers in the NLCS. But this was a team that won the most games in Major League Baseball last year, right? So when you're that successful in the regular season and your farm system is that good, it's hard to argue with the way that they do things. And as long as they get into the tournament, they feel like, hey, we're going to have a shot as long as Shohei doesn't hit 3 600-foot moonshots against us in a deciding game of the NLCS.
And Jet Williams was at the heart of that Peralta deal, a fine outfield prospect. I mean, what are the Brewers? That's a guy that I kind of had my eye on for maybe the Royals, being in a deal coming to the Royals. What do the Brewers say they got in Jet Williams?
Yeah, we've started calling him Shorthei Ohtani because he is the shortest player drafted in the first round since 1965, but despite him being 5'7", he's got some pop, right? So I think, if he could have any semblance of offensive power, he's going to be a cult hero in this city just because those tiny, diminutive guys with a little pop and they're dirt bags a little bit, he's going to fit right in Milwaukee.
Shorthei Ohtani.
Yeah,
I like
very
it.
good.
I like it a lot. Great stuff. Brian D., you're the man. We appreciate it. Have yourself a great weekend, my friend.
You too. Thanks, guys.
All right, the La Feta Delicatessen, into the hour answer. What is the only father-son pair to have won back-to-back NBA championships?
Ooh, father-son. So each of them have done it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Steph did it. I wonder if I don't think Del Curry ever. Did he grab a couple championships off the bench late in his career or something? Were the guys? Did they both figure prominently in the, or was it like a John Sally is the 12th guy on the Lakers or something?
Didn't. The son was a prominent feature. The father wasn't, although he was a very high draft pick. In fact, he was a 1-1.
Jelly Bean Bryant and Kobe Bryant.
The right team.
Right? Do I have the
first one.
Right people?
No.
Oh.
Nope. He's still active. The son. Father's 71 today.
So I got the right team
for the first
Sixers?
guy. Lakers.
Or the Lakers?
Lakers with the dad. The son was also in the Western Conference.
Lakers with the dad.
The Lakers guy was a 1-1 who was not drafted by them, but would eventually win up.
Michael and Klay Thompson.
Yep.
Chef's kiss.
Yep.
You give me 5 guesses and 3 clues, I am going to conquer them all. I'll conquer them all.
Get there eventually.
Michael, M-Y-C-H-A-L. Klay, K-L-A-Y.
71 today, the first overall pick of the 1978 draft.
By the Portland Trailblazers.
Yep.
Out of, hang on, Oregon State?
Where did he go? Minnesota.
Nailed it.
I wouldn't have known that.
I don't
think I would have known that.
Was it Minnesota, you sure? Steve Johnson, then? Was he the guy from Oregon State? Okay, that's another Blazer at that time.
Yeah.
What was going on there? All right. La Feta, we just gave it away. Listen, great place for you to go grab you some La Feta tonight for dinner, lunch. If you could have it for breakfast, I would highly recommend having it for breakfast. Their sandwiches are absolutely to die for. Gourmet sandwiches. The bread, that's fresh every single morning. The meats, the cheeses, the freshest ingredients, the sauces. These are gourmet sandwiches. Go check it out. The Boss is my favorite. That's my favorite La Feta choice if you want to go grab it. They're right there on the southeast corner of 143rd and Metcalf. You can check it out. You can build your own if you want, but they've got so many great combinations there. They're online at lafetadeli.com. Charcuterie trays, they do it. They'll cater as well. Do need 24 to 48 hours notice on catering because, like I said, the ingredients are the freshest around. If you call them and say we need a whole bunch of stuff, they don't have the ingredients, and they're not going to give you something that's not top shelf. So
if you're a turkey guy, like a little pesto, I suggest the Queen.
Queen, okay.
That is my jam. But I do like the Boss as well.
The Boss is great. It's got a kick, got some spice to it. So if you like the spice,
but
you'll love it.
It's a good kick. It's a flavorful kick.
Yes,
it's not just
hot to be hot.
Yes,
there's
a point to it.
all kinds of great gourmet treats and different imports.
If you like to prepare stuff at home and you want some good ingredients, it's a great place to go.
Yeah, they got pastas, they got cheeses, they got candies,
you'll wow somebody at your next dinner party.
Yeah, our buddy Adam, locally owned and operated, great company there, great sandwich. Go get it today. I'll be there this weekend, so maybe I'll see you. Coming up in a little bit, we're going to talk to Jay Williams. So we don't have a ton of time here. We're supposed to get him in the last 15 minutes of this hour. So we'll get to him and we'll talk about what's going on with College Game Day, the basketball version coming to Lawrence. Doors open at 8:30. 10A is when they will start the broadcast. If you want to be a part of it, get there and enjoy.
And it's actually a 3:30 tip. I had seen 3. It's actually 3:30 tip.
Okay.
So it'll be 2 o'clock pregame. Sports Radio 810.
By the way, Gate 2 also.
Nice.
Gate 2 for students. General public doors open at 8:45 at Gate 6. So they want the students in there first. So there you have it.
Be cool. A lot of folks, won't be warm, but that place will be packed, man. That's going to be a crazy atmosphere.
Parking during College Game Day, it's free in the yellow and red lots. Parking garages will still charge hourly fees, but are available if you want those as well. So make sure of that. Vehicles must be removed by noon so that the normal spots are available for the actual game day.
What were you doing when you were 29?
When I was 29, Well, it would have been
2000.
Yeah. But it would have been most of 2001.
Yeah.
My
true.
birthday's late. So what's coming?
When you came back here?
It was the year I was born. What are you about to say, jackass?
Nothing. I'm just moving the mic.
That was the year you came back here.
I came back in 99.
99, that's right. I was there for that.
Yeah.
I was off by a year other direction.
Yeah, because I
that's
remember
right. You were
we were
27.
all afraid of the world ending with Y2K.
Oh, my gosh.
On New Year's Eve. So that's
at Union Station.
Yeah.
And then nothing happened.
But what do you? So 29.
Could you have been the offensive coordinator for an NFL team?
I mean, at 29, I probably thought I could have.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, Declan,
now at 50, I know I could not have.
Declan Doyle.
Wait, what's his name?
Declan Doyle.
Spell it.
Declan. Irish.
Declan. Is that an Irish name?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I didn't know if we just had some hipster name. So that could be like a family name.
Yeah, Declan is definitely a name steeped in Irish tradition. Doyle as well. That's
probably an O'Doyle.
That is definitely a.
Probably lost an O at Ellis Island.
Yeah, there's certainly a Seamus somewhere.
Declan O'Doyle.
There's a Seamus somewhere in his family tree.
Are there Lucky Charms?
Could be.
In the cabinet?
There are people always after him, too.
Okay.
Because the Frosty cereal is Sweet Surprises. He is the new.
Guess who had Lucky Charms at the house?
I did not have Lucky.
Oh, really?
No, I hated Lucky Charms.
I was not allowed to have the sugary cereal.
No, I was.
It clearly worked, right? Yeah.
Even as a kid, I liked.
Maybe
life.
I wouldn't be a fat ass if Mom would let me just have some tasty cereal.
It's Cookie Crisp up in this mug.
Yeah. Get the Rice
Cocoa
Krispies.
Cocoa
wheat,
Krispies.
Wheat
Cocoa Puffs.
Wheat Flakes or whatever. That's the crap I got.
Yeah. Life's about the healthiest cereal I ate when I was a kid.
Anyway, back to this Irish guy.
Declan Doyle is the new offensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens. 29. He was an offensive coordinator with the Bears last year. Obviously, Ben Johnson called the plays, and he was one of his assistants. He is the same age as Lamar Jackson. So, hard to command that room. But if he's got good ideas, he'll command. Everyone talked about how Andy Reid, it's one of the things. Now, he had experience, obviously, but do you make your players better? If you make your players better, you'll command the room. If you can make the Ravens' offense better, this helps Lamar Jackson, he'll have no problem with that. But Jesse Minter, first-year head coach, not an old guy himself, hiring.
How old's Minter? 39 or something, I was thinking?
Let me see.
But now you get a 29-year-old offensive
coordinator. Minter is 42. He'll be 43 in May.
He's coming over from the Chargers as a defensive guy.
Yeah. I mean,
so it'll be all him. All Declan Doyle.
Declan Doyle. Chiefs did not interview him, correct?
I don't think they did.
No, none of the sites have the Chiefs having interviewed Declan Doyle. That will be an issue if the Ravens' offense is better than the Chiefs next year.
It will. Adding to the teams really anybody who hired an offensive coordinator, but particularly the one that's the test study is going to be the Chargers.
Yeah.
Because that's the guy you could have had if you'd felt like reorganizing things.
Let's take a break. Jay Williams, ESPN's Jay Williams will join us. We'll talk about College Game Day. We'll talk about KU, BYU next with Jay Williams here in the program. You listen to the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Let's talk some college basketball. Jay Williams joins us here in the program. Jay, how are you?
Oh, it does?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's not really him.
You will be able to be a part of College Game Day whether Jay Williams calls or not. You can get over to Lawrence and check it out. Student doors open at 8:30 at Gate 2. General public, 8:45 at Gate 6. If you need help at Gate 11, it says here, but Gate 11 will be available for those needing an accessible entrance. So make plans to get out and enjoy. It is the biggest game of the day. It is the top 2 players in the country squaring off.
Why wouldn't you want to be there?
In a game that's number 13 against number 14, and a game that we talked about with Danny earlier, I think is really important. Danny made the point, and he's right. Make sure that Allen Fieldhouse remains a place that you feel like we don't lose here.
Yeah.
But I also think
remain the master of your own house.
I think the stature of the program, too.
Yep.
I don't think you want to be finishing 6th.
No.
And you're battling with BYU right now. So, look.
And this is even after a nice little run where they've won, 3 out of 4, whatever it was. They're still the 6th highest rated team in the Big 12.
Yeah.
You understand that at 2-2 or whatever they were, but they've played some pretty good ball of late, and they're still looking up at 5 teams in the polls and in the brackets.
Do you agree they're the 3rd best program right now in the league?
Yeah, I thought you guys had the right take on that.
I'm not ready to put BYU ahead of them.
No.
But BYU's going to spend.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
A lot of that is that 22 title. If any one of those games that they could have really lost, almost any of them except for the first round game, they fall flat, and you're looking at that.
Yeah,
maybe not, but
yeah, I think it will be interesting to watch, and it's a very, very important game. Here joining us right now to talk about it, ESPN's Jay Williams, who will be a part of the College Game Day, as we just said. Doors opening at 8:30 for you students to get into, 8:45 for the general public. Jay, how are you, sir?
I am doing well. I have not been home in a week and a half. I was stuck down in Florida, which I can imagine worse places to be stuck. But now I am here in Lawrence, and I am ready for the Super Bowl of all games in college basketball.
Yeah,
so life is good.
Real quick, how do you get stuck in Florida? The snow is up here.
Yeah, well, I was trying to get back home. I live in Connecticut, and I couldn't get back home, and it took me 2 days to get out of Lubbock, Texas, and thank goodness a friend was able to get me over to Jacksonville. So I just sat my butt in Jacksonville for 4 days and just relaxed and enjoyed it.
Okay, and now coming into Lawrence, Kansas for game day should be electric. And one of the things, how much of the conversation is going to be about the pro potential of the best player on each team? How much is going to be about the fact that it's the 13th and 14th best teams in college basketball?
Yeah, I don't know if conversations go to automatic pro potential. I think, the way I look at it is I like to keep the conversation to the here and now. And I think, we have seen they have 2 incredible players, number 1, number 2 in the class, in the 1,000th game here at Fall Gown, such a historical place. And, the last time these 2 kids played against each other, one had 49, one had 44. Right, so they were prolific, but I think they're uniquely different. Also, I think AJ DeBonsa has more size. I think he has a little bit more grit to his game, a little bit more physicality from an athleticism perspective, and he gets to his spots on the floor at ease. And he is a mid-range scorer, an isolated scorer, and can do more in that isolated style in which they play. And I think Darren Peterson is learning how to play more within the system of how Bill Self likes to play. It's a little bit more effortless as it relates to a catch-and-shoot type player, can put the ball down on the ground as well and make difficult shots. But I think both their games are very different. And, this is still a team sport, so it's a big game in the Big 12. I really think we have not had a matchup of this magnitude, even though 12 and 13 in the country the whole year. It's either DP's been hurt or another player hasn't made a game. So just having this moment happen at this time when college basketball really kicks off with the Super Bowl on the verge, this is what this game is all about.
What do you see in Peterson's game? He is the consensus number 1 pick by most people's estimations, even with the injuries that he's battled this year. What makes him so special?
I don't know if I just take him number one overall.
Okay.
You know, I watch for things like durability. And if you talk to NBA scouts, granted, I had an injury and how he deals with the injury. I think that is something that people will talk about. I'm not saying it's something that ultimately will hinder him from being number one pick. His talent is unique. I think it's his high clip efficiency shooting that his game is going to translate so differently, because when you put him around bigs that demand double teams, when you put him around other dynamic players, the ball moves a lot faster. There's a lot more spacing on the court. And when he's healthy, he is prolific. Like, he's prolific. Now, the question I keep hearing a lot of scouts ask, is he a two? Is he a point guard? I see the ball in his hands more sometimes when Melvin plays off the ball in council. And so I think that's something that people are kind of trying to figure out, where he's going to be best utilized on an NBA court. I personally think he's more of a two guard at the next level. But I think with the floor spacing and with the size that you have at the NBA level and the dynamic scoring ability and dribble penetration, I think he's going to be prolific.
Yeah, I think so as well. And I think you can kind of play him wherever you want. Whether, there are point guards and there are what I like to call lead guards, guys that play. Like Steph Curry's more of a lead guard than he is just a pure. He can certainly distribute and everything, but he's also looking for his own shot, as well as, he's not the Jacques Vaughn type of like, hey, I'm here to get everybody else going. And so he could be a lead guard. He could be a two guard. I mean, the skills, and I love what you said about, maybe his game plays up even higher when the talent around him is better. One of the things they've struggled with at Kansas is trying to get the chemistry because of the injuries. Like how, right now they're I think in bracketology, they're at a 4 seed, but how much ceiling do you think is there for this Kansas team if they can ever get him healthy, playing all the minutes, and get some chemistry with everybody else?
It's kind of like that hunting position where you see your talent, but maybe the world doesn't see the high end of your talent yet because of the lack of consistency health-wise. But I will say, look, it's all about having the right horses on the team and getting hot at the right time. Rare in college basketball is just like, hey, one team is the best team from beginning to end. Now, maybe we're proven wrong with that this year with Arizona and Michigan. Maybe we are. But, what I've seen is there are players that can get hot at the right time. And if Darren Peterson is healthy, when you need him to be healthy the most, and he's at the top of his game, why wouldn't you think Indianapolis is possible? I would think Indianapolis is possible. And then once you get to Indianapolis, if a player's hot, and I'm just going to tell you, I know we were a loaded team my sophomore year, but going up to the Final Four, I was averaging 27 points per game in college. I was super hot, and once we got there, my teammates kind of took over. Mike Dunleavy got hot, Shane Battier got hot. So it's all about going on those historical runs, but you need the horses to actually be able to do that. And Kansas, when healthy, has types of players that can go on those prolific runs.
Should Badunga have progressed more here in his second year than what he is? I mean, he's still just kind of a lob catching, put back dunk guy. There's not a whole lot of game to his offense. Should he have developed a little bit more by now in your mind?
I always struggle with the question about a player's development timeline. I think, obviously when you watch a guy like Badunga, he has pro potential and pro talent. And I think a lot of that is how players are spoken about early in their career, that you expect everybody's trajectory to be linear and make these huge jumps. I think a lot of times for players like that, it can come with time, and also basketball IQ. It's being smart in this game, and that takes time. So, yeah, I struggle with answering that because I don't really know anybody's timeline, and a lot of it depends upon how they continue to mature in their body, and you would think that maybe he should be, but apparently he's exactly where he's supposed to be.
All right, we're talking to Jay Williams here in the program. He'll be part of the College Game Day. You see him each and every week on the ESPN. Allen Fieldhouse, 10 a.m. The show gets going. They'll open the doors at 8:30 for students, 8:45 for general public. My final four quickies for you. Jay, let's start with this. Who will ultimately end up being the number one pick in this next NBA draft?
I think at the end of the day, I think it's going to be AJ DeBonza.
Okay.
I think it's. I could be wrong. It could be Darren Peterson easily. It could be maybe Cameron Boozer, even though I think the probability is higher for those two.
Right.
But I think right now you're going to have the toggling back between DeBonsa and Peterson. I will say the only thing that will worry about Peterson, and I continue to hear once again from scouts, is just where is he health-wise and can he get healthy?
Yeah, for sure. John Shire wins how many championships as the head coach at Duke?
You're not going to get me in that trap. No way. No way. I don't know. It takes luck to win championships. Like I watched Cooper Flagg last night go for 49 against Con Knippel.
Yeah.
And the only thing I could think about was, can you imagine if they were both on the same team in college? Like, that should be a championship team, right? But it didn't equate to a championship game. And you know, I think, once again, for John, it's the luck of the draw. I definitely think there is potential for multiple championships, but I don't know how many.
Okay.
I think with the way he's recruiting, I think there's a chance for multiple.
Okay. Who was the toughest defender on you? Who was the toughest guy you ever went up against as far as defending you?
NBA or college?
Either.
College was Steve Blake, just because Steve Blake was long, played a long time in the NBA.
Maryland. Yep.
And then I will say in the NBA, it was Kobe.
Kobe.
Kobe was super physical, aggressive, and he watched so much tape of me play before the game, which is pretty annoying.
Okay. All right. And finally, where does Bill Self rank amongst the all-time great coaches in college basketball?
You know, I think Bill's one of the greatest. And actually, you know, more importantly for me as a friend of Bill's, obviously going through some challenges health-wise, I think there's a new perspective that Bill has. There's a little bit more of an ease on how to appreciate what he's accomplished, which I think we all should try to find in our lives without living behind the rat race of just trying to win all the time. He's one of the best people I've known in the game of basketball, and I'm proud as hell of him.
All right, the 73 Braves, the first team to have 3 40-homer guys. Hank Aaron was one of them. Name either of the other two. Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
Fourth quarter of the program begins right now as we finish strong here on a Friday. Still more. First of all, thanks to Jay Williams. By the way, you like how he got that in right at the buzzer?
Yes.
We walked it right up. His timing was perfect. Tremendous player at Duke. Of course, his NBA career cut short. Was probably going to be a great player as well. But we appreciate Jay Williams joining us. Going to be part of the broadcast College Game Day. But good stuff talking to him.
On a team that included Shane Battier, he was the guy they went to for they needed a big bucket.
Yeah.
That tells you how good he was in college.
Absolutely. Coming up still to come here in the program, Kevin Harlan. Can you ask for more?
I can't.
I mean, Kevin Harlan, Jay Williams, Dan Clinkscale. I mean, that's a lineup.
It's hard
and you
to
know
beat.
who was the hardest guy to book? Danny.
Yep.
Go figure.
Mm-hmm.
High maintenance Clinkscale.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Williams is flying in and getting up to Lawrence. We get Jay Williams in, no problem. Danny, Kyle had to go pick him up and drive him here.
Yes.
What a joke.
And Danny had to sit in the back seat.
Yeah.
Like he's being chauffeured.
We got big news.
We do.
Avoiding arbitration will be one Vin Pasquantino.
Yep, this comes from our friend Andy Rogers. The Royals in agreement on a 2-year contract to avoid arbitration. It's worth more than $11 million guaranteed and can max out at close to $16 million with incentives.
Yeah, $11 to $16 million over 2 years. Hopefully this is like the beginning. Let's get this done. You've got security. Let's continue to work on a longer deal on the other side of this. But Vinny Pasquantino will avoid arbitration. 2 years, at least $11 million. Incentives could take it to $16 million. And, Vinny was joking around about the fences coming in. He said, as I'm about ready to go into a meeting and hear how bad I am at this.
Yep.
No, you're not.
Nope.
You're not going to hear it.
The heart of a team that has Bobby Witt Jr. on it.
Yeah. Vinny,
that's always what Vinny Pasquantino is.
Great news for the Royals.
Yes.
Great news for my jersey collection. I actually don't mind.
Great news for my Tuesday nights at the ballpark.
Yeah. I actually don't mind when my jerseys become outdated. I actually like them more. But I did pick up a jersey for the first time in a long. I hadn't bought a jersey in more than 10 years, and I got a Vinny Pasquantino jersey this year.
Great story.
Yeah, he's impressive. I think my daughter get a Vinny Pasquantino jersey also. That's why I got it. It was like we're at the ballpark. We're both. She wanted to get a jersey. I'm like, all right, I'll get one with you. I know I got Vinny. Did she get Vinny? I can't remember who she got. She's like, I don't want Bobby Witt Jr. Everybody's got Bobby Witt Jr. Dad. I think I was like, well, I'm going to get Vinny. Was he good? I'm like, yeah, he's good.
He's incredibly good.
I think I'm buying. She actually knows I would buy. I have a Calvin Pickering jersey.
Yeah,
for
you
God's
didn't
sake.
buy that, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that's right. You bought it. It was from the
the shop. I'm like,
shop.
It's game worn. Calvin Pickering game worn, and I'm like, no one is buying this. It was like 5 years after he'd been here. I'm like, no one's buying this. Can I get this like a discount? No, I think I paid $200 for the damn thing.
They're like Apple. They never any sales.
And the worst part of it. What's the worst part of the Calvin Pickering jersey today? As I sit here.
I don't know.
It fits.
Oh,
guy was a mountain of a man, and the damn thing fits.
280.
Yeah, he was like 6'6", like 3 bills, and a damn thing fits. That's what sucks now. Anyway, good news, Vinny Pasquantino. Vinny Pasquantino.
Yep,
going to be a Kansas City Royal.
Good stuff.
Locked in 2 years, $11 to $16 million over those 2 years. All right, let's hear from Bill Self. We mentioned it. Jay Williams was just with us. If you missed that, 810WHB.com. Check out the podcast. You can also get it on the app, the 810 app. If you want to hear that conversation, Bill Self talking about AJ Deeb. Now you see, DeBanza, I was ready.
Yeah.
And then
Jay Williams called him DeBanza as well.
Is it DeBanza? All right, we're going to go
DeBanza. Might
DeBanza.
be, I don't know.
All right, Bill Self said DeBanza is a rare talent.
He's ridiculously talented. He's long, and he can take 2 strides to everybody else's 3. So he has a tendency to be able to step around you to create separation to get to a shot, and he's. He can score from beyond the arc, but he's certainly so good in the mid-range lane type area. That's 6'9", and I don't know what his wingspan is, but it's got to be well over 7, and to be that explosive and everything. He's a terrific talent.
Mm-hmm. Can confirm.
Bill Self continued regarding the number 13 BYU Cougars, talking about Richie Saunders. Robert Wright said BYU is more than just a one-man band.
In league play, they're averaging 24, 19, and 18. So I don't think you put all your attention on one guy, and those other guys are more than capable of getting 25 or 30 any night. So we've got to, let's call it like it is. We got to guard their team, but our emphasis will be on trying to slow down those three, knowing that there's another guy in the starting lineup that made 5 threes and a half recently. So and then they got a very athletic big guy in the middle that has certainly given us fits in the past, primarily last year. So we're gonna do what we need to do to win the game, but the emphasis cannot be stopping one guy.
One guy. Love that.
That's
so
you're
good.
so happy.
I love one guy.
You're so happy with the way that
was as
the way you put
Oklahoma
that.
as you could get.
Yes. Yes, it is.
I love it. I can listen to Bill Self talk all day.
Yeah. Yeah. Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Can't wait for tomorrow.
A couple of NFL notes before we take a break and get to Kevin Harlan here in the program. Kwesi Adolpho-Mensah to the general manager of the Minnesota Vikings, no more. Ziggy and Mark Wolf tapped Rob Brzezinski, their longtime executive VP of football operations, to lead the front office in the 26th draft. So Adolpho-Mensah out. He was hired in 22. He's an analytics guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those guys. Our buddy Eric Giger knew him very well. He is out after guiding the Vikings to a 43-25 record.
Gotta go.
Gotta go. That guy has got to go.
Gots to go.
Yeah, so there you have it. All right, we will take a break. When we come back, we'll talk to Kevin Harlan. We'll get into the Super Bowl, some NFL talk with the best of the business. The Voice of America is next here in the program.